Hey there, you're listening to You Still Going On About That with Rob Israel and Joseph K. You can find us anywhere you could download podcasts. You could also find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at YSGOAT. Thanks for listening. I'm Rob Israel.
I'm Joseph K.
And you still going on about
that?
All right, Joseph. So it's Wednesday, May 18th. It'll be May 19th soon.
Yes.
I guess a little sooner for you.
Well, hopefully, because we are, me being here in Texas, I am 1 hour closer to the monkeypox epidemic in Massachusetts than you are.
Oh,
so I just pray that I can see tomorrow. But yes.
So, as funny as that sounds, what is monkeypox?
Well, I had heard of monkeypox, but apparently monkeypox is like smallpox, which is terrible.
But monkey, so it's funny.
But rooted in the monkey. Symptoms begin with fever, headache, muscle pains, and lethargy. And then you got swollen glands, and then you have a high temperature, and then you have lesions appearing all over your face and then all over your body.
Do you throw your own feces?
No, not unless you previously did. I mean, if prior to contracting monkeypox you flew through your own feces, you probably would continue to.
Well, I always say that because monkeys are known for flinging their poo. So, well, I don't know when you're that the symptom of that is flinging your feces at.
No, it's apparently the only reason I brought this up, and we had talked about what we were going to talk about beforehand, is like this is another one of those things where like a weird disease. I mean, are Trump's are MAGA people going to oppose any monkeypox?
Monkey, I'm a human.
Containment efforts,
I can't get monkeypox. I'm a human. I'll worry about it when there's human pox.
Am I going to have to see tweet after tweet of MAGA chuds wearing a MAGA hat and eating a banana, to show solidarity?
Right. Yeah, kissing a monkey.
Right.
Making love to a monkey to own the libs.
It's just weird. Like every once in a while, weird fucking diseases happen, and we should have a game plan to go with it. And
allowing a monkey to rip off your face to own the libs.
Yeah. So anyway, there was a documented case of monkeypox occurred in Massachusetts. Massachusetts has pretty good public health infrastructure. I used to work in public health in Massachusetts. I'm confident that they will contain the monkeypox.
If this had happened, see your beautiful smiling monkeypox faces.
Right. If this had happened in like Alabama,
it'd be
we would be
having monkeypox right now
under the thumb of Dr. Zayas in like 90 days.
We're supposed to trust Dr. Zayas. First, we were supposed to trust Dr. Fauci. Now, Dr. Zayas? I don't think so.
We would literally become Planet of the Apes by like late August.
Hell yeah. Like Joe Rogan will be on his show saying like people should take like if there was like some kind of actual vaccine or whatever. Let's hope monkeypox is a thing that was just an isolated incident and someone wrote an article and that's how it got to us. And we don't have to worry about it. But if it is a big thing, what would be the alternative bullshit medicine that Joe Rogan and his idiots would push?
Banana suppositories. I'm confident.
He'd be on there and he'd be doing his like bullshit where he's like, "Hey Jamie," that's the guy.
Right? Yes.
Hit the banana, stick it up my ass. I'm Joe Rogan.
Thanks for listening.
That's exactly how it would go down.
There would be a 20-minute discussion as to whether or not it should be peeled first, and then it would just all.
I'd say don't peel it. Shove it right up at the stem.
So that's the monkeypox thing. Like I said, I'm closer to the East Coast, so I do believe I'm more at risk to contracting monkeypox than you are currently. And I think you're higher up than me.
Yeah, that's true. It's not just do I have like the protection of distance, but also height.
Right, exactly.
But the problem is I have to worry about pterodactyl pox.
Yes, yeah, that would be
that they're back. I saw a commercial with the dinosaurs everywhere.
I read this big article on the Secretary of State in Colorado, and I guess she's like a really kind of a young up and coming Democratic official, and now I think she's fighting for her seat against a woman who was barred from overseeing elections because she tried to cheat in the last election. So that's that'll be an interesting one. Anyway, okay, so the monkeypox thing, let's hope that Massachusetts takes care of it, and I guess we can move on to other.
I have a feeling, and I'm not trying to be a hopeful optimist. I know those don't exist anymore, because if you are, you're a fool.
Yeah.
I like to think that was an isolated case, and it's like people get like Kuru,
Yep.
Now, if this was closer to the midterms, Republicans would definitely jump on this and say that like monkeypox is like the biggest problem, and they would add like a racial component to it, of course. Like they did with Ebola back in like 2014, I think it was. It was one of the midterms. They pushed Ebola real hard.
Yeah. Well,
what are we talking about today besides?
Well, we're gonna do a little pop culture stuff first. New She-Hulk trailer came out. We're talking the new For All Mankind trailer came out, and you saw Doctor Strange,
right?
No, I did not, but you saw that. And as far as our current event stuff goes, we're going to talk about the primaries, which just occurred. We're going to talk about Elon Musk and Twitter, which there's a lot of action on that today and yesterday. We'll talk about Joe Rogan and Dr. Peterson and his
Dr. Peterson,
his
very serious man.
Yep. We're talking about the Supreme Court. We're talking about the Buffalo shooting, and that'll be kind of an odd one because that's not that's just a sad thing, but it's
just another awful thing. And again, it's unfortunately tied to right-wing media.
It is. It
is like 100% tied to right-wing media
and the Supreme Court, which we'll be talking about right before. And then we'll talk about the baby formula shortage, which will be kind of a ending note, and then that'll be the show. So you saw, right?
So let's start. I saw Doctor Strange.
Concert
last week.
And you liked it?
Yeah, it was good. I liked it. Sam Raimi, you can definitely see his fingerprints all over the movie.
Good. I like him.
It had like the styling of it remind me of like the first Spider-Man movie, first and second Spider-Man movie. Dude, there's a part in the movie. You said you don't care, right?
No, you can spoil away.
I don't give a shit about this stuff.
This movies like this, I don't mind being spoiled. I mean, I'm
not going to go too crazy because I don't want to explain too much, but I will just elaborate on some things and talk about the plot. So if you saw Doctor Strange and you don't care, listen. But if you're like, I don't want to hear it, maybe fast forward like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Of this podcast. Okay, my mic was off. Now it's on. So it's gonna be clearer, more refined voice now. So there's an awesome part in the beginning. So he's attending a wedding, and he's like in normal gear, like he looks like he's wearing a tuxedo, or whatever. And it's cool, like the white on the sides of his head.
Oh, okay.
His hair is like dark. It just feels more comic booky. Like it feels much more comic booky. Like there was just something about it. And there's this monster attacking the city, and he's on the rooftop of the wedding. He looks outside and sees it, and he like calls his cape into action.
Yep.
And there's what's his face does the music. He does a lot of the Sam Raimi and Tim Burton.
Danny Elfman.
Yeah. And so the music kicks in, and he does this, like the cape goes around him. He does this awesome superhero transform into Doctor Strange. And it is one of the best scenes of all 28 Marvel movies.
Oh,
like I loved it. I feel like someone said this too. It's kind of like how Taika Waititi kind of like what he did for Thor.
Yeah.
Not taking away anything from the guy who did Doctor Strange. I thought Doctor Strange one was a decent movie.
Yeah,
and
I liked
think
it.
he would have did a fine job too. But no offense to that director, and I forgot his name. Sorry, but it's Sam Raimi. Sam Raimi's awesome, and this cannot be his only Marvel movie. I mean, he's done Spider-Man, but I mean MCU.
Yeah.
MCU, whatever you want to call it. He has to do more. He's just perfect for it. I mean, like his style. Like, I mean, if you even ever saw like Dark Man, you ever seen Dark Man?
Yeah, with Liam Neeson. Yeah,
I did not like it, but looking back, I do enjoy things about it. There's like a style to it. It's like, you know, obviously Evil Dead's amazing.
I saw Dark Man in the theaters, and all my movie nerd friends were explaining to me how good it was and everything. I liked it just fine. It didn't really thrill me. It was fine, but like, retrospectively, you look back at it and you're like, oh yeah, that was really cool.
I mean, from like a director's point, and like Sam Raimi and like what he was doing, what he was trying to do, it's awesome. And so there's like a big plot. There's this character called America Chavez, and she can like basically, she's almost like a plot device. Like she can break through dimensions.
Okay. Oh yeah.
The movie begins with her and another Doctor Strange, and this Doctor Strange has a ponytail, and I don't know why it was so funny. So the costume, this Doctor Strange, it begins with there's like a big battle, and like they're trying to do something, the MacGuffin or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
There's a book, there's a cube, there's
something. Always something.
There's an
briefcase
object
that glows.
Briefcase. There's an object. They got to get to it. And this Doctor Strange is kind of cool. Like he's from a different dimension, but his outfit was based on was from one of the comics, like one of his outfits. So it was kind of cool. But this one had a ponytail, and I don't know why I found it so funny. with what's his face, Cumberbatch?
Yeah, butternut crinkly fries.
Yeah, Buttersworth.
Buttersworth.
Yeah.
Benedict Cumberbatch, right? That's his name.
Benedict Cumberbun.
He was great. He's
great in this.
He's perfect for Doctor Strange.
Yeah. What's her face is great in it too. Scarlet Witch. I don't want to ruin too much of it. It's just like she's basically she's the villain.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, it's weird because it's like they kind of explain some things, but you really do need to see WandaVision. But at the same time, I'm like almost like, did the people who made this movie see WandaVision? I don't know. I feel like they made some odd decisions, and I didn't like some of that. I enjoyed the movie. I like what it did. I liked all the elements they brought in, but that's the one thing I did not like. I didn't like what they did to Scarlet Witch.
Right.
I felt like they just, I don't know, like, because she goes through this like big character arc in WandaVision. You know, when you watch all like 7 episodes or something.
And it was a big arc. Like it did go full cycle.
And I feel like all that kind of got thrown out. With this movie. Like, I almost feel like don't watch WandaVision. Be a little confused about what's going on. Don't watch WandaVision, and you might like the movie a little more. Yeah,
it does seem like maybe the character backpedaled a bit from what I understand of the plot, you know, but
she's great in it. I feel like though there's like some opportunities that were missed. Like Doctor Strange has some big villains, and I feel like they could have brought in Nightmare. He didn't. Who's a major villain. There's a big reveal in the cutscene. There's definitely a lot of horror in it, or horror elements.
Yeah, I've heard that.
There's some gory moments. So one of the big things about this movie that everybody was like, everyone thought like, okay, it's called Multiverse of Madness, and we're gonna see some characters and stuff. And this is like, okay, we know that when they announced this movie, it was around the time that Fox was bought out by Disney.
Yes.
Which means now Disney has the rights now to Fantastic Four and the X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
So they basically own pretty much everything. And the only thing they don't own, which they're like, they probably don't even care, is they don't own the rights to make a solo Hulk movie.
I read that today.
And a Namor movie. Universal owns those rights.
That's so weird. I mean, I
don't know what kind of deal they made with them, because Universal hasn't made a Marvel movie since like 2008 with the Hulk, and they never
Yeah.
did Dick with Namor. So I don't know why they still own the rights, but they have a weird deal where it's like, okay, you can make the Hulk and Namor can star in Marvel movies. You just can't make them.
They can't have a solo movie.
Right.
Yeah, I saw that about the Hulk today. I didn't see anything about
Yeah, because of
Namor,
the
but
She-Hulk trail, which we're going to talk about in a second.
it was just a weird little quirk. And that's, I mean, whatever. I mean, I don't need to see the Hulk
fine.
movie.
I mean, I don't know. So you get to see like some characters, but man, there was so much speculation for this movie from like people in comics were like, they were like, I mean, because they were trying to like just pull in books on people. Like, oh my god, Wolverine's gonna show up in this. Brother Voodoo's gonna show up in this movie. Everyone like, dude, this movie's not 6 hours long.
You're right.
Like the one thing that's good about the Marvel movies versus like the Fox X-Men movies is that they'll introduce characters, but they try to they bring them in a way that at least you get to know them. Yeah, and they're not just gonna have them on screen for 2 seconds. It's like a shitty fan service type thing, where they just have like a quick, here's my power, and that's it. Right. So they can say, look, that was in the movie. Are you happy, nerd? Yeah, like they don't do Fox's like Marvel doesn't, Disney doesn't do that. They try to like nurture and bring in characters, and so you did get to see some characters that they never had in Marvel yet. Reed Richards.
Oh yeah.
Which I'm sure, did you see it already?
Yes. Yeah. I saw, I didn't see an extended clip, but I saw obviously stills and
John
stuff
Krasinski,
like that.
which for some bizarre reason, everyone wanted him to play Reed Richards. He was fine.
He looks fine, but he
was fine. It didn't bother me. At first I was like, oh, come on. But then I saw him, I was like, you know what? I don't care. If he's Reed Richards, it's fine. I still don't think he would be the best Reed Richards. I think I don't know. It's almost like I think they did that as like a nod to fans, but because he's supposed to be like an alternate reality, I don't think he has to be.
Well, did you read that they were originally going to get the James Bond guy? Is that true?
James Bond guy?
Yeah, the most recent one. I forget his name. Daniel Craig. I heard he was supposed to be Mr. Fantastic.
Him? He's the last person I would cast as.
I read that all over Twitter, and
I would cast him as Dr. Doom before I cast him as Reed Richards.
He'd be a good Dr. Doom. Yeah.
I still think that the 2 best Reed Richards out there would be Dennis from Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Okay, I can see that.
I forgot the actor's name. And
Kramer.
And, what? Yeah,
Kramer.
No.
Okay.
No. Chibi from The Good Place.
Oh yeah, he would be. I've seen him in a couple different things now, and he's great.
I know that would probably make some racist nerds upset if they made him black. But I think he would be an amazing. He could and truly believable Reed Richards.
Yeah, you could. I've seen him obviously in The Good Place.
I'm sorry, I just don't believe like John Krasinski. He was fine. He's only in the movie for like 3 minutes, or 5 minutes or whatever, and he was fine for what you saw. But like, I don't know if that's like the Reed Richards that should be.
I could see him.
What?
I think he'd be fine.
He's fine, but I just don't. I don't know. It's fine. I don't care. I mean, like, if the movie's fucking good, that's fine. That's all that matters at the end of the day. I could care less sometimes about the cast. I just want a good movie. I want a good Fantastic Four movie. And he's a good actor. He's a decent enough actor that.
Oh yeah, he's not going to screw it up. I mean, he's.
But there was all these bizarre rumors of like Tom Cruise was going to play like Superior Iron Man because I
heard that rumor.
And I was like, dude, why would he be in that? I mean, like, and just being it for 5 minutes and like, I mean, I guess it's like a little nod, but that would just confuse the fuck out of people. They'd be like, what? Because so everyone that was there in the Illuminati and so there's like this one alternate planet they go to. Yeah. And it's kind of funny because this alternate Earth has like, it's like, what if Marvel had the rights to everything? Because they have Black Bolt there, and they have Professor X and Reed Richards, which means they own the rights to everything.
That's funny.
So you would have a even richer Marvel universe or something. So obviously, what's his face is back as Professor X.
Yeah.
What's his name again?
Patrick Stewart. Yeah.
And he's in the 90s comic series and TV show, The Yellow Chair.
Yeah. I've seen clips of that.
Yeah. So that's awesome. And there's a good moment, but it's like, okay, this guy's old as fuck. He's like 1,000 years old. He's not going to be the Professor X when they do Marvel. This was a nod to the fans. It's an alternate reality, and that's fine.
That's fine. Yeah.
But my only issue with this was, and this is a spoiler, and even though you probably already know, right? Because you looked it up, whatever. Spoilers.
Oh.
Wanda fucking kills them all.
Yeah. Yeah.
She literally kills the entire Illuminati. So in the comics, there's this thing, in the comics in Marvel, there's this thing called the Illuminati that exists to like, where like Professor X was in it, Reed Richards, Tony Stark, Black Bolt, Namor. It's supposed to be all the big, and they work behind the scenes to make sure that everything kind of like, things don't get too far to hand. And there was a great miniseries. So I guess in this universe, there's the Illuminati, but they're basically just the Avengers, right? Or like a super team.
Yeah.
And in this world, Doctor Strange ended up being the one that was like evil or something. And there's actually a really great scene, and they show they defeated. You see a dead body of Thanos with like a sword through him. It's such a visually, the movie's amazing.
Yeah.
I recommend it. But like I said, my only complaint about it is I was not 100% on board with what they did to Scarlet Witch in the end. I thought that was a little too. I would have liked. I think it would have been a good idea to have one of Doctor Strange's villains in it, like Nightmare, or something, or a reference to Kang, maybe.
I'm a little surprised that they didn't do that. I'll check it out. I mean, I like to go see it in the theaters.
It's definitely worth a watch. Like I said, Sam Raimi brings in all those like camera tricks that he's known for. It is really good. What's her face is great. A kid who's America Chavez.
Okay.
She's great. She's going to be in tons of, this isn't going to be her only movie. She's going to be, this is all stuff they've been building towards with the Young Avengers.
Yeah.
She's one of them. The two kids. There's like a really funny thing because I pay attention to shit when I watch movies. So the kids in the movie.
Yeah.
They show them and they're straight out of the TV show and they're like cute and little. But then there's another scene later, they must have shot like a year later for pickup. Okay. And all of a sudden they're like, Mom.
Nice.
Like, you're not cute and little anymore. You're gross and you're probably going to fucking go just gross now. I probably smell. they're like all of a sudden they're not like 4 feet tall. They're like 5 feet tall. The kid's face is all of a sudden long. The other kid's got a soul patch. And he's like, Mom, don't do that.
I'll check this out.
Like, Mom, don't do that. I always love that. And you're like, they shot that later. And they were hoping we wouldn't notice that kid aged like 2 years in this scene.
Yeah, that does happen occasionally.
Do you remember It? Did you see the It movies? The new ones?
Oh, yeah. I saw the first one and I saw most of the second one. The second one, for some reason, didn't grab me, and I found myself kind of. I saw it in the theater. I don't think I ever watched it again. It's not as good as the first one. The first one was great. It takes place in like the late 80s, and it only takes place. In the second one, it's with the adults, but they keep flashing back. But they fucked up. They should have filmed the movies at the same time. And the kids were already like a year or two older already. And what they did, which looked so bizarre, they de-aged the kids. Oh, no.
And they literally looked like, I haven't seen it again. I only saw it in the theater once, and it was weird and unsettlingly.
Yeah.
Their faces, they look like they smoothed them.
I don't recall. I saw the second one on HBO Max.
The kid from like Stranger Things who's in it, and he has like glasses in this one. Like in the one scene, it looked like fucking Fievel from
Jesus. American Tail.
Yeah, like dude, like they like, just don't do it. Like he's still young. We know he's still like a kid, but like
sometimes I wish they would just let it ride and trust us to kind of fill in the blanks, But
I mean, like they should just film the movie together back and back instead of like making it and like being like, well, we'll just see how the first one does. Like have some fucking go in with like confidence and make both of them, man. It's like the Dune movie.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like 10 years when they make the second one.
Well,
all of a sudden Chalamet is gonna go through puberty and like
I have heard similar CGI complaints about the She-Hulk trailer, which we were going to talk about next.
What's that?
The CGI effects in
No.
She-Hulk.
What's a She-Hulk?
Oh, She-Hulk. She-Hulk, the new trailer for She-Hulk. Am I saying that wrong? Am I saying that?
I don't even know. I mean, I was talking about Doctor Strange. Is there like a connection to She-Hulk?
She-Hulk.
You keep saying that, but like, what's the connection?
Well, you were talking about the bad CG, the odd CGI effects.
Yeah, but what does She-Hulk have to do with Doctor Strange?
I've heard that people have had. There's no connection between She-Hulk and Doctor Strange,
other
than they're both Marvel properties.
Oh, okay. I feel better now. Thank you. Yes,
but I've heard that people have had gripes about the CGI.
I thought it looked great. I don't know what the fuck people are complaining about.
But have you read that? Have you seen people talking about?
Oh yeah, people are bitching about it and stuff like that. It looks like I am confident that they are still working on it.
Probably.
But like, dude, come on, this is a fucking okay. All right, so Doctor Strange was great.
Yep,
looked really good. They just dropped this trailer for She-Hulk.
Yeah,
the other day, which is a series that's going to be on Disney Plus.
Yep.
It's a character called Jennifer Walters. She's a cousin of the Hulk. The Hulk's going to be in it too.
Yeah.
I think this might take place, from what the rumor is, in the 5-year gap between Infinity War and Endgame. Because
sure, that would make sense.
What happens to the Hulk in the end of Endgame, his arm gets fucked up. And they even said, Feige and the Russo brothers said that he is permanently fucked up. That that will never heal his arm. Which I might, yeah, right, whatever. But supposedly that is like permanent damage to his arm. And did you see Shang-Chi?
Yeah.
Spoilers for Shang-Chi, which is on Disney Plus anyway.
That's a great one, yeah.
In the end of Shang-Chi,
that's right. Yeah.
Has introduces them to Captain Marvel.
Yep.
And Bruce Banner.
Yeah.
And holograms or whatever of them they're talking about. And obviously Captain Marvel looks like Brie Larson.
Yeah.
And Bruce Banner's back in human form.
Yep.
But he still has that bucked up arm. It's in a brace. So this supposedly takes place in between Infinity War and Endgame. But I would say then where the fuck did She-Hulk go? Because why was she not running down the field when they said Avengers Assemble?
Right. Yeah.
Obviously we know why, because they didn't make
it. Right. Well, no, I mean, you could easily explain that. She was there somewhere,
She was having a girl's day out.
She was in court,
She was in court.
Trying to get a protective order against Thanos.
They bring Night Court back?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope they do a crossover.
That would be great.
That's important. Everyone wants DC Comics, Marvel Comics crossover, Hulk versus Superman and stuff like that. But I'm more I need to see the new Night Court crossover
with She-Hulk.
This is what matters. This is what the fans want.
Yeah, Night Court will be awesome, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
I'll bet you it will be.
Did you hear about it though? What's her face?
Yeah, we talked about this on the show before.
Did we?
Yeah,
the girl from Big Bang Theory, that guy's wife, the creepy guy.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. There's some good people involved with it, if I remember right. She's supposed to be
the daughter of Harry.
Harry Stone, that's right. Yeah.
Well, everyone's dead on that show except for John Larroquette and I think Nicole and Marsha Warfield. She's coming back.
Yeah.
But 3 of them died.
The woman just died not too long ago.
Yeah, and the other guy too, the clerk.
Yeah. Right. Sad. Well, anyway,
it's bad when we're losing Night Court cast members.
True. This looks great.
She-Hulk?
Yeah, I love the actress. Did you ever watch Orphan Black?
I never really got into it, but I remember she was in some Parks and Recs episodes. She dated.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
What's his face?
The Adam.
No, not him. The other guy. The one who was on. That guy. The comedian.
Tom Haverford.
No. He's like the Indian guy.
Yeah. Well, his name in the show is Tom Haverford. It's
Oh,
Aziz.
What's his name in real life?
Like Aziz and
Aziz
yeah.
Sorry.
He was such a great character on that show, and I do remember her. She was so great on Orphan Black.
She played like 20 different people, right?
Yeah. Now I love the first season was amazing. Second season, I kind of did lose track of it.
She found out she was a clone or something.
Yeah, the first episode was amazing. She's in a subway station waiting for a train, and she basically sees herself jump in front of a train and kill herself, and she freaks out.
I watched the first episode.
Yeah, and then she gradually learns that there are multiple of her, and that she's actually a clone. And it was great. Was
there a Prime?
Gosh, I watched the first couple seasons religiously. I think they made like 5 seasons, and I never did finish up on it. I just sort of lost track of it. And but anyway, she looks great as She-Hulk. The show looks real
people
fun.
Complain about the CGI on this, but I'm like, all right, 2 things. One, this looks amazing.
Yep.
The Hulk looks great. He looks like he's straight out of the movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But I would imagine the Hulk shouldn't be too tough because they have all that shit in the so they have all the models. It's just the really what comes down to is rendering and how much time they're allowing for rendering.
Yeah.
And that's how you know CGI looks good is based on rendering. Rendering and lighting is modeling is important too, but rendering is the most important. That's how you get all the details and how it looks. That's
fluid
and that's like tricks the eye. And so he looks good, and I feel like they have that shit already like in the system. Like if they're using the Endgame design, to me, she was always going to be a tough one because it's like, okay, how are we going to do this? Like it gets involved with like a She-Hulk, and that could be a weird, that could go in a weird direction.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they are just going with the straight up classic sensational She-Hulk character from like John Byrne and like the later comics. I think that's great. I think it's awesome that they're doing that. I love the fact that she's like fucking oversexed. Like the funniest thing about her character, so I've been like going back over the year and I was buying like a lot of back issues and I was getting stuff from the original series. I always had that first one from the 70s.
Mm.
That goes for like crazy money now. But like I went back and got some of the other ones, and her character was more brutish in the original. It was called the Savage She-Hulk. Didn't last that long. She wasn't really the She-Hulk we know now. The thing about She-Hulk was always this character that like predates Deadpool, where she breaks the fourth wall. She would break the fourth wall.
Okay, I didn't know that. Yeah,
Deadpool kind of did that later. So the question is, she gonna break I bet she breaks the fourth wall, and I have a feeling the show's gonna be like. That's why I made a joke and said, "Ally She-Hulk."
Oh yeah.
Ally McBeal. When you said that she's gonna fight
the baby,
the
dancing
like
baby.
a 500-foot tall baby or something, but it's a shitty CGI. I think that
would be pretty good.
And the funny thing about her character though was even back then though she was like always ready to get like her fuck on. Like I remember getting like this comic Marvel 2-in-1, and she wanted to have sex with the Thing like
weird
half the time in the comic. Yeah, I'm reading them like. It's like, are we gonna do Snoo now?
Oh man, yeah.
You remember Snoo from Futurama?
Well, yeah, I remember the old joke Ruru, which I think is probably the genesis of that joke. That's the one where that you get captured and you have 2 choices. You can be like tied to a stake and killed, or
death by Snoo.
Yeah,
that was great in Futurama. All the characters have broken pelvises. Yes. So she was like always wanting to like. I mean, obviously, these comics were made for kids back then. But it wasn't.
Yeah, and it was a different time.
But it was like pretty obvious. Like, let's go in the back of the car. Like she was always super horny. Like,
weird. Yeah.
It's like really funny. Like she's like got like everything's exaggerated. Everything's like she's got like it's like her libido is higher. They kind of showed that in the trailer when she's like going on the dates and she's carrying the guy. It's like the funniest thing. I saw this one TikTok, this guy going on about like how society can handle She-Hulk now because of the giant The giant big titty vampire lady from Resident Evil.
Oh man,
you remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah,
had that giant Resident. She was like 9 feet
right.
tall.
Yeah, that was in like the
And
most recent Resident Evil game, I
yeah,
think. Yeah,
and then like people are ready for. They can handle. If they can handle that, they could definitely handle She-Hulk.
they probably had a crack team of sociologists working on it, and like
yeah, totally, yeah. I probably did, which is like
think
we're laughing
tank.
about it, but there's probably a good chance they did have
that is probably true.
Yeah. I can't wait for it. It looks awesome. They
Yeah.
showed clips of it. Frogman supposedly in it.
Yeah,
I think this
Abomination is there, right?
Abomination looks great. Well, what's his face was in it, so he clearly is back in human form. Supposedly Wong's going to be in it.
I heard that. Yeah, I didn't see.
If you saw Shang-Chi, remember he had some.
True.
He was doing some like he was doing shit with Abomination where they were
right.
Like,
oh yeah, they'd run a scam. Yeah,
fight place. That was funny.
Yeah.
So they redid him. Abomination looks so much more like the comic now. I hated the way he looked in the Incredible Hulk. He just looked like a lump of shit. Like he didn't look like anything. I was like, dude, you couldn't make why? If you're gonna make a big giant CGI monster, just give him the fucking ears, man.
Yeah, go all out.
Like just make him look like the comic. Why does he have to be like a gray lump of shit? Like, no, that's too much. The movie audience will be like, that's too stupid looking. My 9-foot monster cannot have big dragon ears. It has to look like a gray lump of shit. CGI is better now. They probably couldn't afford to do the ears. They're like, dude, don't have the rendering speed to do it. Wiggle a little bit. So this looks sick. What's her face from A Good Place plays Titania, which is one of She-Hulk's main villains. She's in for star bit. That's the woman from The Good Place.
Yep.
I forgot her name. The rich girl.
I don't remember her name, but I know the actress. Did you ever watch The
Good Place?
Yeah, I watched actually that whole series.
I always loved her, like how the sister was like so much better than her.
Yeah.
Like in every way. Like
she won like a Nobel Prize.
Ridiculous. Yeah. And she was Banksy too, but she like went.
That's right.
Like, yeah, she was everything. It was like ridiculous. It was just like she tried to be so good, and like the sister just overshadowed her. She should be great in it. So I have a feeling that this is my prediction. This is going to be Marvel's Peacemaker. Now it's not going to be
cool.
I think it's going to be a little more raunchier than most of and a little more raunchier than I was going to make a joke and say I'm trying to think like Moon Knight. No,
sure, yeah.
Raunchier than actually, man. Think about it. Some of these shows are like WandaVision had some sex going on.
Yeah, it's subtle. You have to kind of fill in the blanks.
Yes,
with that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, if a little kid watched WandaVision, they wouldn't.
They weren't being like, why is Vision and like the beds got closer together.
Right. Yeah,
a little subtle. Yeah, it was subtle.
And they were like, there's that one scene where Wanda was subtle. Like,
I think this is going to be. I think it's going to be fun, but I think the whole bitching about the CGI is ridiculous. I'm like, listen, I think it's going to get better, but come on, this is a fucking TV show still. Like, they're not going to give you endgame CGI on a fucking TV show. But I mean, it's weird because it's like the character exists as a CGI model. So yeah, you have to make it look good, but I think she looks great. I don't know. I think it's going to be a tough one. I think it's harder because it's like the Hulk, at the end of the day, still looks like Big Monster Man.
Well,
I think when they did the Professor Hulk, though, it looked better because he had more of Mark Ruffalo's features. Yeah,
for sure.
So there was more realistic look to him.
But they don't have to use the CGI all the time. Like that Moon Knight was only in it for like 3 minutes over 8 episodes. I mean, we don't know how much of She-Hulk we're going to see.
But I think she's going to be in it a lot. From what it looks like in the trailer, she looks like she's.
That's probably all the scenes.
Yeah, I mean, except for like that first episode. God, they better not. That first episode. I think there's 9 episodes. It's more. They're probably shorter though. I bet that'll be like almost like a half-hour sitcom type thing. Though I do love that the name of the show is called
Attorney at Law.
Yeah, I think that's really funny.
Yeah, that is funny.
Because I don't think any of the comics were even called that. They didn't say Sensational She-Hulk or Savage. Attorney at Law that's
Yeah, that gives you a good idea of the tone.
I wonder. So these are my rumors. I think it'd be kind of cool if Matt Murdock showed up for one scene.
Oh yeah, that would make sense too.
The lawyer. Yeah. So going back to like Doctor Strange, like I said, everyone thought all these characters were going to show up. And there's a decent amount of characters, with the Illuminati.
Yeah.
There was all these people were like, so all these jokes that people were putting out like fake spoilers, and they're like, "Oh my god, I can't believe this character showed up, and this character and B author played it." I thought that was great.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, I can't wait for it. I think it's cool. I didn't think they were going to drop the trailer so quickly. It doesn't come out till August, but cool.
Nice surprise, yeah.
I really want to see it. Like,
I'm looking forward to it.
First of all, I love the Hulk. Hulk's my favorite character. I like She-Hulk, and I think she looks great as it. I'm glad that they went in the direction the way it looks. And I'm glad that it looks like it's going to be funny.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of opportunity to like really cut loose on this show. I feel like when they do some of these more comedic things, that they could get away with bringing in some of the more sillier characters.
Yeah.
Speaking of sociologists, but you get away with it's like Peacemaker when they bring in the weirder characters. And stuff.
Well, and like Guardians of the Galaxy is a great example of that. You have Groot and Rocket Raccoon,
and then like Howard the Duck shows up. We're just like, yeah, why not? I mean, it makes total sense. Why would he not be in this?
Yeah. Well,
all right.
It'll be good.
The other thing you want to talk about?
The
trailer for a show called For All Mankind. We talked about that. This one's going to be on Apple TV.
Yes.
Season 3.
Yeah.
And looks good.
I think it'll be great. Look, I don't want to talk a lot about it because it's the kind of show where either you just say it's a good show and you kind of like give a highlight or two, or you wind up spending an hour talking about the little plot nuances.
We talked about it. So real quick, this is a show where basically Russia lands on the moon first before the US. And because of that, it really takes the space race into overdrive because the United States have small dick syndrome.
Yep.
And have to overcompensate for everything. That's basically what the message of the show is.
Yeah.
And because of that, the joke being, because of that, the space program becomes bigger. Therefore, government funding is bigger, and and more progress happens in the United States when it comes to like women getting into power earlier, taking on bigger positions, all because Russia sends a woman to the moon first.
Yeah.
Therefore, America's like, we got to get a woman on the moon. And
it's such a great show.
And then, so in the end of season 2, we're up to the point now where there's been a moon base for like a decade now on the moon, and they're fully like technology has definitely flown past us. At least at this point in the 80s, it has dwarfed where we were.
They have like present day technology in the 80s.
Yeah, and then in the I mean, they don't have smartphones yet, but I bet you by the 90s when they will, and they're already talking about going to Mars, and like not just saying it, but actually doing it.
Yeah, like planning it.
There.
Well, the last scene of season 2, you see them on Mars.
Yeah, that was like a little scene. Now, my only gripe with this show, and this is where is a problem, is they make lots of pop culture references in the show to but the problem is like I feel like a lot of this pop culture would not exist in this world.
Yeah.
Based on the events that happen in this world. And by the time you get to the 90s, so when you start the series, it's the late 60s, and that's when our universe and the For All Mankind universe splinter.
Yeah.
So by the time you get to the mid 90s, which is season 3, I'm assuming it's going to start in like 1994.
Probably.
There's an issue because now you have like humanity has already gone so far in a different direction. I think the USSR is still in power, probably in this third season.
Yeah.
But I guess it remains in power because of the space race.
I think they talk about China too, though, now being like a big.
Yeah, and there's like a Elon Musk type character.
There is.
Billionaire guy, but that makes sense. I think that makes total sense that they would at this point you would start seeing private sector. I mean, that technology is already there. They're going to jump on it. People are going to leave government and go to private sector and get paid a ton of money.
I could see that.
Makes total sense that would happen. I'm interested, but like I said, I don't want to see like, oh, did you get that new Nirvana album? It doesn't make any sense in that universe. Like none of that shit makes sense.
Well,
like it would just be culturally, the world would be so different. And I just think like, yeah, go ahead.
I agree. I mean, you're just right. I mean, like things would evolve differently. Like you would maybe see, a different genre of music become more popular. I thought it would have been cool if
ethereal space music.
Well, remember when like in the 80s, late 80s, a lot of like English pop stars were embracing world music, and it's like Paul Simon made Rhythm of the Saints and Peter Gabriel. It would be kind of cool to see like, oh, maybe that really took root. And in the early 90s, there's like a ton of world music, like real, African-based music and stuff like that. We're not going to see that.
It makes sense to me that the culture would be just so different.
Yeah, I do though. Like I think from a storytelling standpoint, what's the quickest and easiest way to tell people we're in 1991? Oh, play "Come as You Are."
Well, that's like fine. I don't mind that in the trailer. I mean, as like the stinger in the end.
Yeah,
that could be. It's like a tough one where like obviously that's just used as like background music to explain the situation.
Yeah,
but that music makes no sense in that universe.
Well,
not to say that it would never come out. I just don't think it would be a big hit.
Yeah,
I don't think it would have an impact on the culture.
Yeah,
it makes no sense.
Well, once that starts up again, which is relatively soon, we'll I'm sure be talking about that kind of week by week.
I have a feeling that that's going to be the one lazy element of the show is the references of like dressing in grunge. It makes no sense.
You think that the astronauts will be on Mars wearing like flannel kind of wrapped around their waists and stuff?
I'd be like, this is dumb. I would hope not. But no, I mean, it looks super sci-fi now. Which makes total sense. I mean, they have like completely dwarfed us. I mean, in the 80s, they have a fully functional base on the moon with like technology and everything. And so, I mean, that point, who the fuck knows what's going to, like at that point, that by the 90s, it's going to start looking like literally, I mean, it already starting to look like Star Trek there.
Yeah.
And the 90s, it's going to look straight up just like Star Trek.
I was going to do that as my like last little plug before we move on to the news stuff is I have Paramount, the streaming channel, and they have a new Star Trek called
Strange New Worlds. It's supposed to be good.
It's legit really good. They release it week by week. I've only seen the first 2 episodes. They've done an amazing job of making it seem super retro and real modern.
Yeah, because this is Pike, right?
Yep, it's Pike.
And he's like supposedly like aware he's gonna die or something.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that he knows
he's gonna end up in like that weird barbershop Steve.
Yeah, he's gonna be in 10 years he'll be dead. Or incapacitated or whatever.
That weird box like in that episode of Star Trek.
In the I think that was the no, that wasn't the pilot, but yeah. So anyway,
the pilot was Pike, and the only person from the pilot was Leonard Nimoy.
Right.
And it was a totally different cast, and I don't even think the pilot ever even aired until like
after. Later. Well, Spock is in this one, and Uhuru is in this one, and Nurse Chapel is in this one. And
well, they did a Pike episode in the original series.
Yeah, I remember that.
He's like
in that machine.
He looks like a half dead Dalek or something.
Well, I'll tell you, this is 100% a real fun show. It looks episodic. It doesn't look like, I mean, if there's an arc, it's going to be a very loose arc of Pike's resolving his feelings about, knowing when he's going to die.
But I think the guy who plays Pike was the guy who played Black Bolt and
was it? In Wanda Inhumans, and then
he played Black Bolt in the shitty. Remember they made a shitty Inhuman series?
Yeah.
So it was kind of cool they brought him back to play him, and they actually gave him the real costume.
Well, I would definitely recommend. I think the first episode is floating around for free.
Yeah, because they tend to do that. I saw the first episode of Halo on like.
Oh
YouTube.
Yeah.
They had on there, so I'm definitely gonna check it out. I mean, we're gonna get. We plan on getting Paramount Plus soon anyway because
it's like cheap and it's
head thing.
Yeah.
What?
It's cheap and it's good. There's a lot on it.
There's like a lot. There's more stuff on there than Apple, right?
Oh yeah. I love Apple, but there's very little on it.
Yeah. I mean. Yeah,
Paramount's good. But yeah, the new Star Trek it just looks real sharp and fun, and it feels retro. It feels like, it's like I don't know. It's hard to explain, but when you see it, you'll know what I mean. That whoever did the design on it, or whoever was in charge of like the look or the vibe of the show, really did a nice job. And it's just fun. It's like a nice breezy 40 minutes. And I watched the first one, couldn't wait for the second one. Watched the second one, which I thought was even better than the first one. And I just hope it kind of continues. It's fun. So anyway,
Cool.
The primaries happened.
Is that She-Hulk?
No, I'm switching gears again. The primaries happened.
There's show on Crackle.
Well, you would think so, because some of the candidates are reality TV stars. But there
was a big. Well, there was a. I mean, there's been primaries so far, a ton of them, but they were like, okay, so yes, we are officially shifting. Hold on.
No more fun.
Record scratch. You're gonna add a record scratch.
Yes.
So yeah, there Pennsylvania. What else?
North Carolina, Oregon.
North Carolina. Was there any New York too, or no? There was just a lot of states in the country, but a lot of the states that people are looking at, battleground states. Pennsylvania has always been considered a battleground state. Biden won it back, but like there's still some important races. And of course, because idiots like Dr. Oz are in there, it brings more attention. So
the Pennsylvania one and the North Carolina Madison Cawthorn race were the big marquee races.
John Fetterman
yes
won his primary against Connor Lamb. In Pennsylvania, which is great because supposedly Connor Lamb is kind of just like whatever.
He's a moderate Democrat. I don't hate him. Immediately after he lost like 60-40 or something. Immediately after losing, Connor Lamb tweeted out that he can't wait to vote for Fetterman, and
Biden congratulated Fetterman. Oh, actually, another big race was Kentucky. Charles Booker.
That's right. Yeah,
won. He's the one that should have won.
Yes,
last time.
And they ran that Army Air Force lady.
That lame. I mean, the lady was like whatever, but you had a better candidate.
She's fine.
You had a better candidate that was going to build a movement in the state, unlike her, who's just like a one-trick pony. I'm in the military, and then says dumb shit like, "I'm going to work with Trump even more," and it's like,
yeah,
why the fuck am I voting for you?
Why would you vote for them? They said, I read an analysis today that said the Democrats did really well when they ran candidates that just sort of leaned into who they were and were kind of progressive.
More progressive, a lot of more progressive Democrats won this primaries.
Yeah.
In these states. There was another big one in Pennsylvania, a woman, I forgot her name, in Congress. She won, she beat out.
Yeah.
She primaried somebody and she won. And supposedly that's a big deal. She's very progressive as well.
Yeah.
I have to look it up. But John Fetterman, I think, is a big one.
Yep.
Some of it jokes about it. Well, one, he had a stroke recently.
Yeah, just like a couple days ago.
Yeah, he's doing fine, but like, I think we need more people like him in the Senate.
Yeah.
Like I said, him getting in, he gets in, and Charles Booker gets in, and the Democrats don't lose any other seats.
Yep.
Joe Manchin becomes irrelevant on day one.
Well, I'll tell you, Fetterman should win. He's going to go up against either Dr. Oz, who is a Turkish citizen and a resident of New Jersey.
I know when people bring that up. No, I mean, I don't think that's going to work though against him. I think I don't think it's going to work against him. A fucking clown and a goon. I think it's more important to bring up that he's a fucking grifter, clown, goon.
Yeah.
Who is a Trump sycophant who pushed COVID misinformation. He could go fuck himself. Anyone running who pushed COVID misinformation can go fuck themselves. And he's a piece of shit. I think bringing up Turkish citizenship, I don't think it's gonna make a difference. I think like he's a MAGA fucking piece of shit, and I think it needs to be. John Fetterman versus Trump.
I think it's true that
MAGA Oz wins the primary. It's John Fetterman versus Trump.
Yeah, I think it's true that like if you're going to vote for Dr. Oz, the Turkish citizenship thing is not going to be the deal breaker for you.
They don't care.
Like they just
they don't give a fuck. They won't. They wouldn't even know what you're talking about. Yeah. They're like, what?
I love Turkey. What do you?
I love
Why
turkey.
do you hate
I eat it at
Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving.
Well, I think
If,
that the
if
weird
Dr. Oz is gonna promise me more turkey,
turkey in every pot.
then I'm gonna. He's got my vote.
Well, he is neck and neck with the other guy, like Mick Mitchell, or I forget the other guy's name. Anyway, Trump is telling Dr. Oz to just declare victory.
Yeah, well, okay, so Trump has Truth Social, which is basically just a Twitter clone.
Yep.
And people copy and paste his or take screenshots of Trump's tweet through social, whatever the fuck they're called. And they they look a little bit different. It's funny, like in Trump in the multiverse of madness that is known as Truth Social. Check marks are red instead of blue.
I'll retruth that.
And it's like he's tweeting or thinking he's tweeting. He said that Dr. Oz should just claim victory,
right,
regardless if he won or not. And it was like, why should he not be allowed on Twitter?
Right.
Again, because he's literally anti-democracy. I feel like, I don't know. We'll see what happens. When are they going to do the recount?
I think they have to. I think they're still counting, and that the recount, they're thinking it'll be an automatically triggered recount.
The other big issue is, besides the Turkey thing, supposedly his dual citizenship, is he doesn't even live in Pennsylvania.
He's a resident of New Jersey.
Yeah,
he's a citizen of Turkey and a resident of New Jersey.
How are you able to run? I thought you're not allowed to run. You have to have residency.
I'm sure he got a residency there. I mean, I don't know.
Don't apply to these fucking people.
Well, it's just weird. It's like this whole notion, and like I get that other candidates have done it. That was the big knock on Hillary Clinton when she moved to Chappaqua, is that she was just moving to a place where she could run.
Oh, you're talking about when she ran from New York City?
Yeah,
New York
Senate? Yeah. Right. I mean, I get that as a
don't you dare besmirch our queen.
Even back in the day, I was like, okay, that sounds like a legitimate complaint, but like it seems like really off the charts now. Isn't like Josh Hawley like literally live in another state? Like,
he's not even in Missouri. Like that's the joke too. This says a lot about these fucking clowns. Like John Fetterman is from Pennsylvania. He was the mayor of one of like the poorest towns for years, and then he obviously built himself up, became lieutenant governor, got a lot of attention during the Trump, like after Pennsylvania went to Biden and Trump was a fight, attacking. This is pre-January 6th. And John Fetterman just looked like the perfect guy of like, you gotta fuck with this guy. He's like 6'10", he's huge.
He looks like a regular guy, like obviously very big.
Somebody made a joke and said that he looks like the uncle that lets him play with fireworks.
Yeah, well, he does.
Was it Coop is the artist Coop? He has the Coop Devil. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
You don't know who Coop is? Do you ever see?
Yes.
It's like that's his most famous drawing, and he
does kind of look
today.
Like it.
He tweeted a thing this morning or something and says, "I guarantee you, John Fetterman owns this shirt because it's like his most popular shirt, and he's like a rockabilly looking dude.
Yeah,
wife is like a rockabilly.
He looks like he listens to a lot of Social Distortion.
Like I said, he looks like the guy who like he wouldn't sit in the front and block you because he was so tall. He's like a nice guy. He'd be like, I want to stand a little bit in the back.
Yeah, he does. He just has a real regular guy vibe. Someone who could totally kick your ass but won't, because he's got nothing to prove.
He looks like he would be in the movie My Bodyguard.
Yeah.
Chris Makepeace.
Yep. And Matt Dillon.
Yeah. Matt Dillon was the bully. I always like what was it? Adam Baldwin, unrelated to the Baldwins.
But he was the bodyguard.
He was the bodyguard.
Yeah.
And then Matt Dillon gets his own bodyguard.
Right.
Which is really funny. I'm watching this movie. And that bodyguard, I swore, was 50 years old.
Yeah. That was a great movie.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, it was good. I saw it. But so John Fetterman winning, I think, is a big fucking deal. Like I said, I think Charles Booker winning in Kentucky is a big deal. I hope he wins against Rand Paul. Rand Paul is a horrible piece of shit and a traitor to this country.
Yeah, he is.
And I don't know if Charles Booker could beat him. It's possible, but he's a candidate who will build a movement in Kentucky, unlike having another one of these centrist bullshit, like, I'm a veteran, I'll vote for Trump if need be.
He was the best candidate you could hope to get in Kentucky. I don't know if he's gonna win, but he gives the Democrats a legit shot at it.
I don't even know if John Fetterman will win if Dr. Oz gets in. People are stupid.
Yeah.
Celebrity people are dumb, man. I don't think you understand how dumb daytime TV is. Daytime TV people attract more dimwits than anyone.
Is Dr. Oz real popular though? Is he like a telegenically popular guy? I mean,
the fact that he came in as close as he did
true.
Is scary. It says more about the Republican Party.
Yeah.
It was about the Republican Party than it does like that they would vote for a reality show doctor.
It was a mixed bag in Pennsylvania because the person they have running for governor is a straight up ultra MAGA January 6th
participant. That's right. How's the guy that won in the Democratic side?
Josh Shapiro is the guy who won on the Democratic side. And I don't know anything about him, but all the people I see talk about him say he's a great candidate.
Well, all I say is I hope he beats the guy who fucking attended January 6th.
Well, that guy said that he wanted to throw out Pennsylvania's electors. He wanted to, he like everything he was about was like super fucking criminal. And it's crazy.
You can't have a guy like that be governor of a state. That's insane.
Well, no, because he appoints the Secretary of State, and then whoever he feels like giving the election to next time gets
you cannot.
Well,
it'll be awful if that guy wins. Yeah. Like, it has to be the Democrats need to get a landslide. And they said the thing about Fetterman though is he's like a top-down ticket and that he'll help the state go the Democrat.
And
I think he got a lot of attention with the election with the Trump trying to rig it and everything.
Yeah. And I like Fetterman as a good modern candidate. He's not going to fuck around. He's not going to try to make friends. He's going to give it to the Republicans hard.
I saw him on Mar like decades ago.
Yeah.
Like around 2000, like 15 years ago. He was on Bill Maher a couple of times.
Okay.
He got a lot of attention because he was like the mayor of like literally like the poorest town or something like that. And he just seemed like a very kind-hearted person who understood, like truly understood like working class. That's what we need.
Yeah.
We need more of that. That's why I said you get him in there, you get Charles Booker in there. Those two win in the Senate. Joe Manchin might as well just go fucking finally become a Republican and he becomes completely irrelevant on an inauguration day in 2023.
I could see that. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I think
that. I really do truly believe that the Democrats they don't just need more a couple more senators to they need like more true progressive candidates that will push in actual policy and not play games like Manchin does.
Well,
all right, so what else was there on the primary?
The other big primary news is that Madison Cawthorn lost his primary, not by much. He was he's had a rough go of it lately. He's the one who was
is he the guy who humped his cousin's head?
He humped his cousin's head. They filmed it, and then he had like photos of his some other dude like
video of like
feeling him up at a zoo,
grabbing his crotch in the car.
Yeah, and then they had shots of him in drag like on a cruise ship.
Well, that was the first. Okay, so this is where it all started. Like a month or two ago, Madison Cawthorn, who's a huge piece of shit. Yep. Madison Cawthorn is the youngest kid in Congress. He's a literal child. He's a MAGA piece of shit. He was part of the January 6th thing. He's part of the shit squad, which is Green, Marshall Green, Boebert,
Gomer, Gozar.
Yeah, it's those, and then a couple others, and he's just an attention-getting waste of time.
Yeah.
He doesn't know anything. I've seen him in interviews. He doesn't understand policy. He literally does not, like, he supposedly was part of a talent agency,
right?
Just like Boebert was, and supposedly Green were all part of this talent agency. So says a lot about them. And he came out and said that there were supposedly these orgies that the older Republicans have, cocaine orgies
with prostitutes.
They invited him to it, and they want him to attend because he's young, and you know, they need to smooth out the wrinkles or something.
Yeah,
orgy.
But he came out and said that, which ruffled a lot of those older Republicans. And the next thing you know,
well, you don't say what it is about the rules of the cocaine orgies. You don't.
Right. The first rule is that there are no cocaine fueled orgies.
Yeah. So McCarthy pulled him in, had a meeting, and Cawthon, they showed him after he looked visibly stunned. And they probably told him, you're going to lose your primary, which kind of says a lot about like elections. Like, what do you mean you're going to lose? Isn't it up to the will of the people? Like,
no.
But no, just ads, and they'll just put more money behind this guy.
Well, he didn't do himself any favors,
What?
Cawthorn didn't do himself any favors. There's a lot of ammunition.
The first thing to come out was this images of him in drag at a party. It's like, whatever. I mean, it wasn't like really, it's not like he was fully decked out in drag. He was wearing like some women's like lingerie.
Yeah. And
a weird photo. He's at a party. Looks like he's having a great time.
Embarrassing, sure, but like people, that's
a huge
not shocking.
He's a typical huge hypocrite. That's all it was. But then more stuff came out.
Yeah.
With him in the car driving, and his friend Greg, or his cousin, or whatever it is, grabbing his crotch, not in like a haha, but more like in a I'm gonna jerk you up. Like, I don't know any other way to say it.
Yeah.
And then after, if you thought that was getting weird, footage of him naked
and grinding
tail. He had a tail supposedly. I saw this, and I was like, this is so weird. And he starts grinding, like, or pounding, or whatever it is. This video got out, and I was like, okay, this dude's done. Like, this video getting out. And Cawthorn's like, I told you they're going to do a drip drip campaign.
Right.
And I'm like, dude.
Nah, man.
Dude, yourself, buddy. And he lost his primary. I think it's awesome because he's one of the shitty.
He is awful,
suck, but it's just fun to see one of the trio, or whatever the fuck they're called, quartet of Matt Gaetz, Boebert, Green, and him. He lost his primary, so he's done. I mean, he's still going to be a congressman.
Until the election, sure.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll have a case of senioritis though, and probably never show up.
Well, seeing him lose was very heartening, and hopefully, knock on wood, we see the same thing happen to Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene. And
the reality is that like whoever took Mass Cawthorn is just going to be a bigger piece of shit, and will know how to play the game better. But you know what?
Yeah,
it's true, and that sucks. But I'd rather have that than have Madison Cawthorn in there.
Yeah,
I think that the problem with people like him is that they make it such a joke.
Yeah,
that it actually completely. I mean, unless you're a fucking nihilist, this is not
just
good.
Bad. It's bad for the country.
Bad. This is not good. This is rot. He's rot. You don't need Boebert is rot. Green is rot. These are people that ruin government for everyone and take advantage. The fact that tax dollars were paying this guy is just ridiculous. Man, there was so many good tweets that people had. I pulled up the so one of his first tweets was like, what is it, when he won in 2018?
Yeah.
No, 2020. He wrote "Cry More Lib" or something.
Yeah.
And let's see if I can find these.
He really leaned into the owning the libs mindset, and it's just funny to see him collapse like
I retweeted this thing and said, "Cry more, chud." I said, Madison Cawthorn is leaving politics to spend more time humping his cousin's head.
That was great.
Let's see. Madison Cawthorn has been casted in the reboot of this scene in Mac and
Me.
And it's that scene that Paul Rudd always plays on. if somebody says like, "Oh, you're being an ableist," so think of Master Thornton. If you're not aware, is he was in an accident.
Yes, he was in it. Right.
This is the one time you're allowed to make fun of the disabled.
Well, it is kind of a weird.
It's so repugnant that it allows. This is a guy who pictures of him in going to Hitler's Eagles.
Yeah.
In Germany.
He like recreated photographs of Hitler at like the site of a concentration camp.
He was psyched. It wasn't even like, oh, this is like a historical moment and we should like reflect on it. It was more like, yeah, Hitler's my man.
It was
I'm a Nazi.
really to put it mildly, it was in very poor taste. I mean, like it was probably much more, but so anyway, no more Madison Cawthorn.
Wait, did a guy in Idaho named Mike Crapo win the Republican
Senate? That's another big one. The
Mike Crapo,
the governor and lieutenant governor of Idaho. I forget the governor's name, but the lieutenant governor is like Janice McMegan or something, McGuchin or McGuchin. Anyway, she ran against him. She got clobbered in the primary, but she was the one where when the Republican governor of Idaho traveled to Texas to tour the border because he was very worried about the border.
Idaho. Even though his that like 1,500 miles away,
and it technically borders Canada, I think. But like
Idaho should be the governor of Idaho should be going to Canada, not Mexico.
The minute he left the state, the lieutenant governor,
out of here.
The lieutenant governor started making all these laws. Like the minute he left,
I remember that lady started making all these crazy
and
laws.
Then I said something about her on Twitter, and she blocked me. Like I've been blocked by a decent number of people, but like she blocked me immediately for something pretty mild. Anyway, so
he won. He beat her.
He beat her. Now he's terrible. It's not like he's better, but she was worse. She was very worse.
Well, can I just read this to you real quick?
Yeah.
Has to be, obviously this is fake. And this NBC News, somebody photoshopped this.
Yeah.
Mike Crapo wins Idaho Republican primary, defeating Dick Pounder, you Jazz, and Jake Pedophile. Mike Crapo. What kind of name is that?
There is a sportscaster. He does, I think, tennis matches named Dick Pound. And he always shows up, but every once in a while he's trending on Twitter. And it's so funny because the dude's name is literally like Dick Pound.
Dude, there's so many funny names out there, things and like streets and stuff. Because I do a lot of like shipping and I get people's like addresses and I'm like, you live on that street? Like, and there's some that are like almost like that. I'm like, wow, street that or
so anyway, those are the primaries.
Well, so people were like, okay, Madison Cawthorn, now that you lost, start releasing the names.
Yeah.
He's not going to, though. The guy is out of a job. He's going to milk this for a decade.
Yeah, he'll do fine.
He's going to milk this shit. He's probably, first of all, comes from an affluent family, I'm sure. I mean, the kid's name is Madison Cawthorn.
Sure, yeah.
It literally sounds like a villain from an 80s movie.
Yeah, like the bad guy from Wet Hot American Summer. Like,
One Crazy Summer or something like that. You're going to have to defeat me in the yacht race. I know who my father is. And like he's like a villain from like Van Wilder or something.
Yeah.
But he'll probably like milk this and he'll put out a book, probably already working on it already.
Yeah.
And they'll release names or whatever. But also I have a feeling like he probably was right about the cocaine orgies. And if anything, what?
Probably.
Oh yeah, no, I totally believe it. He's probably 100% right. He'll probably be like found in a river a year later if he actually named any real names.
Yeah, but he'll, as long as he sticks to show business, he'll be just fine for himself.
Oh yeah, like somebody made a joke and said like you're already constructing his costume for the Masked Singer.
Yeah.
I said that he's going to be on Dancing with the Stars.
Yep.
And I know that may sound like an ableist joke, but it's actually not. I truly believe that they would find a way to get.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh totally.
Yeah.
He would do some kind of trick because he probably has like a lot of upper body strength where he'll do some kind of headstand.
Yep.
And like out his wheelchair, people are like, oh my God, this insurrectionist is so talented and a great dancer. Because they all right-wing chuds, failed politicians and stuff like that end up on these reality shows.
They do.
Fucking Giuliani of all people recently was on. Yes. Stan Kelly, the artist of The Onion. You ever seen?
Oh yeah.
Who's a real person and not some other artist that I know who does
right.
Stan Kelly's like one of the funniest things. And man, yeah, it's the one that was so good today. It was rock out with your caucus out, and it was censored. And it's like a drawing, a big censor bar, and it's all the Republicans in an orgy. It's so fucking funny. And Madison Cawthorn's in the corner, and he's wearing he has a tear, and he's wearing a shirt that says priggish first term reps. And Ted Cruz is like, come on, Cawthorn, join in. Oh man, this is great. This is like possibly one of the funniest drawings I've ever seen.
I'll have to look that up.
I retweeted it. I don't want to say the real name because
right.
I don't want to reveal artist Kelly is a very talented person. Stan Kelly, he's been doing this for decades. Got to respect his respect. I don't know if I agree with him politically. This guy, he tends to be has more of a right-wing spin, but I respect the craft.
Yeah, there you go.
Stan Kelly is a very serious legit and I respect the craft. The most famous thing from that is the creep in the window.
Oh yeah.
It goes and it says yes. That it comes from one of the.
I saw you did a homage.
I did my version of it.
Yeah.
And Stan Kelly, I was told that Stan Kelly approved it. He actually enjoyed it. So
nice.
That meant a lot to me because, like I said, I don't agree with Stan Kelly politically, agree with him, but I respect the craft. He's no Mallard Fillmore. Remember Mallard Fillmore?
The little Rush Limbaugh duck. He was great.
Here's a little fun fact of my childhood. We used to get what was it? Newsday.
Okay, yeah.
I'd always look at the comic section, and then Sunday I'd get the comic section. We didn't get the Daily News, but my dad would go to 7-Eleven at night on the weekend, and my dad would get the Daily News, the Sunday paper, the Daily News. Whole new world.
Yeah.
Mallard Fillmore. Marvin. Remember Marvin?
Yeah, the baby.
What if Garfield, but a baby?
But it was a baby.
He literally had red hair. What?
Same drawing style too, basically.
Almost. It was literally the same. Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Apartment 3G, classic.
Yeah, they just had different comics on Newsday then, so we'd get that. It'd be like entering another universe.
Yeah, no, I remember.
The multiverse of madness, but in newspapers.
Yeah, High and Lois. So good.
No, that was I was sick of that shit. I got all that stuff. Like I said, it'd be like comics I never even heard of in the Daily News. It's like, I don't know. It's like, when you go to one of those liquidation stores, and you see a brand but you're like, I never saw lemon brittle worts. Oreo had a fig flavored. I didn't know that. And they're being sold at an outlet store, a discount. The expiration date was maybe a month ago or next month.
Yeah, a poutine flavored Oreo. What?
Yeah, exactly. It'd be weird shit.
It's got fucking a hockey figure on it or something like.
Yeah, you're like, this could be good. I don't know. Probably. And then you get it and you eat it. There's a reason why I was here.
These Gretzkyos suck. These
Gretzky, yeah.
Well, that's
all right. Well, I mean, I don't know if there were any other big primaries. Those were the biggest ones.
That was it.
I was glad to see. I felt reinvigorated. I was starting to get really down on the whole politics thing, and I feel with this primary, seeing Booker win, Fetterman win, and Madison Cawthorn lose. A couple other races, hopefully. I want Dr. Oz to lose. People are like, oh, they want him to win. No, fuck that. I want him to lose.
Yeah.
I don't want him in the conversation. I don't.
No, it's a dumb conversation.
Person. What?
It's a dumb conversation if you're talking about him.
Yeah.
I'd rather, I see the logic in wanting a poor candidate, but no, run.
No.
That's the Democrats don't need to plan for a candidate to run against. They just need to put the best person out there with a good vision that has like a good progressive liberal ideal.
And I think Fetterman stands a chance more against a generic Republican than he does Dr. Oz.
Yeah, could be.
Because I think Dr. Oz brings in the stupid vote.
Yeah.
All right. So what's the next thing we're going to talk about?
Well, we're going to talk about some Twitter news. The big news on Twitter was that you and I were both. Oh yeah, that's right.
Twitter news. You got you broke the sound barrier of Twitter.
Yeah. Well, to preface this, the news this morning had been about Elon Musk further backing out of the Twitter deal, and
he's been trying to get out of it, right?
Yes.
And no, go ahead. What were we going to say though?
But there'd be like $1 billion penalty, and now they're talking about him maybe getting in trouble with like some not releasing data or information at the right time. It looks like this thing is becoming a big bogged down mess. And so
Tesla stock keeps going down.
Yep. And then Elon Musk tweeted, "You're going to see some political attacks about me." And then he made this big tweet about how, because his feelings were hurt, he's becoming a Republican. He's changed his mind about economics and social welfare and everything. All his previously held deeply held beliefs,
progressive beliefs, and not dodging taxes or being anti-union. Oh wait, he's all those.
Yes. So anyway, I tweeted, and I didn't even think much about it when I tweeted that. I said, Elon Musk is what happens when your parents are colonizers, steal a bunch of money, give it to you, and then everyone around you tells you how smart you are. Poor Elon. And
it is now at 22,500 plus likes.
Yeah.
It retweeted almost 4,000 times. It's got over 1,000 comments, mostly from Elon Musk chuds. It's pretty nuts. I mean,
well, I knew it was getting big when my DMs started filling up.
Did you get DMs from people?
Oh, I got a lot of DMs. I won't read them all, but I have a few of a couple classics here. Here's one from this guy named Dylan. How's it feel to be an ugly ass liberal?
Yeah, that seems like I've posted some Elon art of him where he's a penis, and I've gotten people contact me and get really mad at me and say horrible things to me.
Yes,
probably nothing that got to this amount of, but you're like, man, this is like one of those tweets I see where it's like, I always see like these dumb tweets. I'm like, how did this get so big?
Yeah.
It's like, I had a hot dog today. It's got like 400,000 likes. It's just some rando. It's not like it's some famous rapper or something.
No.
With a built-in audience. It's just some dude. It's like weird how some tweets just become viral.
Yeah. I called Steve.
Man.
Yeah, I called Steve Munchin a dipshit back in 2020, and that tweet got like 100,000 likes. That was a really big tweet. And then like nothing, and then this. And
I told you, I said, you have to, when you get to a certain level of tweets, you have to do that whole like, oh wow, this blew up. I can't believe that.
Oh, that really pissed me off.
I don't have anything to promote, but check out the podcast.
Yeah. Afterwards, I said, if you love hot takes like this, you can always check out the YSGOAT podcast. And I got a ton of really bad
soy boy.
Yeah. That was some really bad ones. And then one woman, Victoria, said, monetizing hate is a very sorry pursuit. Make something.
Ben Shapiro.
And well, I responded, monetizing, please DM with details.
Yeah, exactly. We haven't made a dime, literally.
So I don't know.
You count getting Baja Blast sprayed in your face by a Taco Bell employee.
The one thing
that's all the money I need in the world.
Paid in packets, baby.
Used sauce packets.
One thing I will say is after it started, the weird thing is like right after I posted that, one or two people I don't know and don't follow retweeted it, and then I'm imagining that they had reasonably big followings or whatever. And anyway, it just sort of skyrocketed from there. But after
also all the chuds reacting and saying that builds on it too. So you're having thousands of people retweeting it, and again, most of these people are like Elon nut jobs. And some of these people, my favorite, I had one response, and this one 140 likes, so I'm really breaking the Twitter mode. But someone said, Elon is African though. What? And I wrote, he's an apartheid American.
Yeah.
And man, some people got really pissed off about that. Some anti-Semitic shit was thrown at me.
Oh, I saw that. People. Yeah.
I had to go, oh, is that so Israel? I was like, oh no.
That was quick.
I don't know why people, I to this day do not understand why people say that shit to me. I don't get it.
Yeah, it's a mystery.
I always love when they're like, wait, like, do you want to rob Israel?
I'll bet you that really confuses them because a lot of them have probably like complicated feelings about Israel in general, and like
I always get like the real anti-Semitic shit, but there are just some people who are clueless. I don't think they have hate in their heart like that. I just think they think that my name is literally like a course of action. Rob Israel, like they want, like, I'm like, what? And then I get like people follow me probably for the wrong reason.
Yeah, let's
rob Israel. Like,
I didn't even think of that.
I'm like, no, I am.
That is not a verb.
Or they spell Israel wrong, and they think I'm telling people that I'm real.
Oh, jeez.
That happens all the time.
Well, I will say that after, like, most people, and I got a ton of likes, and a lot of people retweeted it with like, this is awesome or whatever. But like a lot of Elon Musk fans really, really came in hard. And I'll say a couple things just kind of out of the blue. One is that, like, I looked at my tweet, and I did just kind of say that off the top of my head. That wasn't like a well thought out tweet.
Well, the word poor Elon was also trending. The word poor Elon, and yours was like at the top of that. So I think that, and it was trending for the day.
Well, I mean everything I said on there, but like I never said the guy was stupid. I honestly never even said he was bad or anything.
I think his move with Twitter is a sign that he ain't like bright as people think he is.
Well, for sure. And I guess my whole point was like, the guy's just kind of like a bully and an egotistical jerk. And that's kind of where I was going with that. I don't think anybody can really disagree with that. I mean, like, that's probably something they admire about him. But I never said the guy was stupid. I never said the guy was like, I honestly didn't even say the guy was evil or anything. I just said, like, this is the kind of behavior you see when you get a bunch of money that maybe wasn't earned through hard work, and it's given to you, and then everyone around you says you're smart. You become a certain kind of person.
That's tiptoeing with the right for like years now.
Yeah.
With the MAGA people and everything like that, but now he's just full on.
It started libertarian, and then it went pretty right from there.
He's just posting like shit about conspiracy theories about like Soros, Gates.
Yeah.
Like, if I was Bill Gates, I would sue Elon Musk.
Well, here's the second thing I'll say.
Like, Elon Musk is just another rich asshole.
Yeah.
And who better than see two rich assholes waste all their money suing each other in court?
I got a ton of people DMing me, calling me all sorts of horrible names and telling me I'm worthless and so on. And a lot of people on the tweet responded with like, you saw all this horrible stuff.
Oh yeah, these people are awful. They're garbage.
Never in my life would it dawn on me. I see like fuck Joe Biden stuff all the time. I see like anti-Hillary stuff.
Don't you mean let's go Brandon?
It would never even dawn on me to like, I'm a reasonably political guy.
It's probably because you're not a piece of shit.
Who would, and Elon Musk is just like a random business guy. He's like
that's the craziest. Right. Okay, this is the thing that drives me nuts about the whole Elon thing. It's fascinating.
He's just some dude.
And people he's sucked the imagination out of people. Like, this guy with marketing, we're told this guy's a genius who's changing the course of mankind. He's going to save the world.
Yeah.
And he goes on Joe Rogan says whatever. So he gets a free Tesla from Elon Musk, which is actually true. He did. Yeah. And that video of him smoking weed got out a couple years ago. So a lot of dumb, like 16-year-olds probably fell in love with him that day, thinking he's like the coolest thing on earth. and that he's like Elon's punk rock, like all this bullshit.
Right. Yeah.
And then the thing is, like last year, he was trash because he was like heavily pushing. This is a guy who's supposed to like level the carbon footprint on our planet. And this fucking guy is hawking NFTs in a shit coin. Not even Bitcoin, fucking Doge. Like a fucking shit coin. People were putting in so much money because of that asshole. And he's manipulating the markets. But I mean, on a different note, though, when it comes to him, you get these other idiots who think like, okay, so you bring up that he comes from a wealthy family. This guy named Joe Gertner, he has a blue check mark. I have no idea who he is.
Oh, yeah. I saw that.
What his, like, why he has a check mark. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But he's like, did they give him more than 250 million? Because he even turning 250 and 250 billion is impressive. Jury's out on when you get to 25 million. I gave you 25K, and you were like, you're right.
No, I was like, look, that's a good point. Cause like at the time, I didn't think this tweet would get real big or whatever.
At the time you were being told that you were a soy boy piece of shit.
No, I'm like,
people. Your brain was fried.
I'm like, look, this is not a bad point, because like Trump inherited a bunch of money and turned it into less money. Like that's Trump lost money. And like a lot of wealthy people will take an inheritance and like squander it. Elon Musk took a bunch of money and turned it into a bunch more money. Sure.
And I just want to get this out of the way. I'm not saying that Elon did not do the work of any kind and that he's dumb. I'm not saying any of that, but I do bring a solid point. I think a person, and I responded back and I said, I think a person with only 25K is going to have a much harder time turning that into 25 million than someone born on first base with 250 million.
Yeah.
So the guy's like, I don't know, he's just trying to defend it. I'm like, I don't feel like fucking reading it.
That was like the least unpleasant interaction I saw.
Yeah, it was fine.
Concerning this tweet.
So I said, like, you're right, all else being equal, but did they give him 250 or 250K? I said, please note that with inherited wealth usually comes access to affluent people that will help provide opportunities that most will never see or understand. Yeah. That is the biggest part. It's not even really the wealth. It's the access. It's being able to enter a world that 99% of the planet does not get to participate in or understand. It was like, a good example, the person what's her name, who made the show Girls. The worst example of Hollywood nepotism that ever fucking existed. Parents were like heavily influential in the art and entertainment scene. Dad was like both parents were like famous artists. They lived in like a brownstone in Manhattan. Access to all kinds of people, access to studios, probably access to agents and managers and all the people that you need to get to where it was. And I'm not taking away from Liam Dunn saying that she's not talented.
Right, sure, of course.
But she is no more talented than the people that are also struggling, that have the talent too, but do not have the resources. Another good example we talked about was that show about Theranos.
Elizabeth Holmes.
Yeah. The one thing I feel like, and I don't know if people picked up on it, is that her dad was
Enron.
Was a VP, right? At Enron.
Yeah.
And that's a high up at a big company. And that means that they have a lot of affluential people, access to a lot of different people. And like I said, most people don't get to have, what's the famous person again?
I think it was George Schultz.
Schultz backing your company. Most people don't have that. So this whole bullshit that Elon built up everything on his own. Like I said, I'm not saying that he didn't do the work or any of that, but like, I'm sure he has, it's not even just like the wealth. So let's say I had $25,000, just $25,000.
Mm-hmm.
Do I have $25,000 plus the money I already have?
Yeah.
So do I have the money and I get the 25,000 and someone's like, go do this, build a business with this. And I try, right? And I'll be like, well, I need to do some schmoozing and meet some people or whatever too. because I guarantee you, when they say like, "Oh, he was given 250,000," yeah, but he's already fucking comes from money and he's rich.
Yeah, this happens at like middle schools where it's like, hey, whoever sells the most candy bars gets a prize, and like
Bruce Willis sells like 500 boxes for his daughter.
Yeah, right. Yeah, or something like that. You know, I mean,
or the owner of the last company I worked with, the owner would have the daughter walk around and sell fucking guilt cookies to all the employees who bought like 1 to 20 boxes out of the fear they were going to lose their job.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, I don't know. The whole thing with the Elon Musk thing is that I was really struck by like, man, I can't think of a single person on the planet that someone could mildly insult that would cause me to start DMing them horrible things. Like, it couldn't even.
Well, it's insane how like what a gross like how much people think of this guy. Like it's bizarre. It's like listen,
it's bizarre. It's like literally bizarre.
This is like a cult at this point.
Yeah, like think of I'll think of like a person I really admire. You know, like Jimmy Carter, which is a guy I legitimately admire and whatever. If some guy on Twitter starts bad mouthing Jimmy Carter, I do nothing. I don't do anything.
You're poor Jimmy Carter.
I just move on with my day.
Elon stands.
If someone, I mean, I can't.
He was a peanut farmer. He invented peanuts.
I can't think of a single politician or anyone that, you know, like.
Well, again, some of these people are hard to gauge, but some of them are literally fucking bots.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Not all of them, though. Some of them seem like pretty.
No, not all of them. But then there's like, who knows? Everyone's weird. They all have like reasons why they say certain things. Like, like they think this is how the game is played or whatever. They like put all their stock in him, and they think like. But I think it's okay. So real quick, again, I just bring up like. He didn't invent Tesla. He bought Tesla. He just
and the
other thing too, and I wish I brought it up, was the reason why Elon is as big as he was is because of government subsidies. This motherfucker is telling people he doesn't want to pay taxes. He's anti-union, all stuff, and most of this money that he got was generated from the help of the fucking government.
Yeah, it is. It's just such a weird dynamic, and I think
typical. It's such a typical fucking, it's like, I remember like, what was it, Dick Cheney when he was running for VP or real president in 2000, in the debates. There's a famous line when he goes against droopy dog Joe Lieberman.
Joe
Lieberman says something about government, and Dick Cheney's like, well, I could tell you this, the government had nothing to do with my success or whatever, and everyone's laughing. I'm like, dude, you motherfucker work at Enron. You have like no big contracts. Government is the reason why you're here, and you worked for the Nixon and Bush administration.
Yeah, come on.
Who are you fooling? All these dipshits are like, it's like, he's a piece of shit. He only exists because of all the fucking money he raided from the tax dollars.
Yeah, it is weird. Twitter's a real weird place. You know, I mean, it really, really is. And I think that was kind of, some of it is like, I don't know.
It's a lot of trolls. Like, I mean, like seriously, like, okay, so you're on Twitter and you see someone named Rob Israel write something, and your reaction is to go on a full-on anti-Semitic rant. And you're just like, this is what you do?
This is like I don't know. I mean, like I don't.
Elon, congrats! You got Nazi 1488 backing you. Congrats, man. You used to be the guy who was gonna get us to the Mars, and now you're just the dude that gets 4chan like.
Yeah, if you do find like a pro, like a lot of people would, tweet back terrible stuff, and if you click on them and you look at their tweets, like a lot of them just spend like all day, like, tweeting "fuck Joe Biden," tweeting stuff about people being woke, canceled.
That woke shit.
It's like, just like it's like a steady.
Say what you want. Stop using the cutesy word of woke. We know exactly what it is.
Yeah, it's just
a racist pig.
It's something.
I just think it's funny though. Again, the Elon thing, where it's like, he made the big announcement that he was going to vote Republican, and man, I gotta find this one. It's pretty funny. Let's take a second.
It is something.
Like Tim Pool.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of a chud, Tim Pool tweeted out. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. About Elon Musk, like, oh, maybe the left should reflect on why people are fleeing from them. And well, he wrote form them. I mean, he made a spelling error. It's okay. I make spelling errors.
That's fine. Yeah.
I said, LOL. Oh no, we lost a billionaire ghoul. What will the left do? You know what? And this one guy wrote, you know how the left loves billionaires. And then there's one for Elliot from Internet Today wrote, can't believe an unfathomably rich person would vote Republican. Gonna need to reflect on this deeply.
Right. Yeah.
I wrote, Elon Musk, a tax dodging ghoul, is voting Republican. Wait until Tim finds out water is wet.
Yeah, it is. I honestly, like, if you had asked me, did Elon support Democrats or Republicans before, honestly, I wouldn't have been able to tell you which side. I mean, I'll bet you, like, if he was like in Hollywood with Hollywood friends, I'll bet you he'd throw money at Pelosi. If he was, I mean, I bet you he just like whoever's in the room with him.
He's also, I really do believe he had like a weird personality shift. I think his weird divorce or whatever the fuck.
Yeah,
Ryan really fucked with him. I think, like, again, a couple of years ago, he was like, I remember he was on the board or something for Trump. When Trump was president, and he left literally like the day what was it? Charlottesville happened.
Okay, yeah.
This is disgusting. I'm leaving. Like, I'm not going to be participating in this
right
anymore. That Elon Musk doesn't exist anymore. This Elon Musk would be like,
well, that
you guys are too woke. You need to be. There were bad guys on both sides. That
is the weird thing. Like, you're right, because a while ago I really liked Elon Musk. I genuinely or generally thought of him.
You were told that he was this like guy that was finding new technologies, and you know, again, you're talking about like, this is the grievances of the Bush administration, where they destroyed the electric car and like gas guzzling SUVs, and gas prices were like out of control. Like, gas prices suck now, but they were worse back in like 2000.
Oh yeah,
they were really bad. And you also got to figure the money back then. I mean, we're talking like
different,
over a decade ago. Money's different now. It was worse. So he seemed like this breath of fresh air, and was like, holy shit, here's a guy. And the company was like, he wasn't as rich yet. We knew he was rich, but it wasn't like,
right. It wasn't this level.
He doesn't seem like he's in it for the wealth. Like, he's in it to like really make a difference. That's what we were sold. And Obama threw money at him and his time administration. So like I said, fucking Elon Musk should thank anyone, literally should say thanks Obama. I guess let's give, if you don't like Elon Musk today, just say thanks Obama.
Yeah, well, there you go.
So, you know, he's heavily involved with solar panels. He's heavily involved with electric cars and like space. So he's a huge disappointment. But what's not a huge disappointment, Joseph?
Well, what is not a disappointment? Are you talking? Well, you're not talking about Joe Rogan or Peterson. We were going to talk about them briefly with the Twitter stuff.
Well, here's something that isn't a disappointment.
Yeah.
Jordan Peterson
quit Twitter. Yeah.
The other day. Let me see if I can find the tweet, because it is possibly one of the funniest things.
Oh yeah.
This guy ever tweeted. It was in regard to this is it. It was in regard to the cover of the swimsuit issue of Sports Illustrated.
Yes.
New York Post tweets, Yumi Nu shaking over Sports Illustrated swimsuit cover. I don't know why she's shaking. She's standing still.
Right.
I'm assuming there's a comment on her figure.
I would imagine.
And Jordan Peterson goes, sorry. He sounds like, not beautiful, and no amount of authoritarian tolerance is going to change that. And man, first of all, what the fuck is authoritarian tolerance?
It was such a weird tweet, but he's basically saying like, I don't think this girl's pretty.
This girl's not this girl don't give me a chubby, and therefore it's authoritarian tolerance.
Yeah.
What this is the kind of shit that like the right pushes, this authoritarian tolerance. This is like, he's not the first time I heard this. I've heard Joe Rogan say this, and all these other fucking right-wing assholes. They say stuff like about with trans people, like respecting pronouns. They call that authoritarian tolerance. And it's the stupidest thing. It's like, hey buddy, how about hear me out. You don't be a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
But a lot of people were okay. So besides the fact that people were responding with his man over the years has looked like shit. There's like, he like almost died from apple cider like a year or two ago. His like daughter forced him to eat like an all meat diet.
Yeah.
And like I only eat meat with salt and water. Like that's it.
That was a weird, yeah.
He was pushing this bullshit. And like supposedly he had apple cider and it put him in like a 6-month coma.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, what? I had a juice box of juicy juice and it knocked me out for 3 months.
Yeah, it was just such a weird tweet. And then
there's all these images of him where he's like, you know that photo of him that's like going around? He's like, he's panicking or something.
Well, and then he said that he's quitting Twitter, and he asked his staff to hide his password or something. It was a weird little breakdown for him.
Yeah, it was really funny. Like I said, and I posted a picture that said, anyone that looks like this has no right insulting this person.
Yeah.
Which is true. It's like, I'm sorry, but like, it's like, okay, if you're like just some regular Joe on the internet, who cares what the fuck you say? No one's gonna care.
Right.
You're gonna get like 4 likes, no one's gonna care. You're gonna be lost in the deluge of Twitter.
Right.
Unless you're Joseph K.
Oh, yes, right.
It gets like, I love it. You get like fucking 30,000. I love how Twitter is. Like this post, this one got 25,000 likes, and then your next tweet, 3.
4 likes. 3 likes.
4, sorry. Yeah, that's how you gained it. Well, hey, you know, YSGOAT, we're now over 100 followers on Twitter.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Only took 3 years, and you mentioning it in the Elon Musk tweet. So we like to thank Elon Musk for getting us over the 100 hump on Twitter. And you know what they say once you get over 100?
Oh, the next 1,000 are real easy.
I would say maybe the next 5.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. So but when Jordan Peterson tweets this, more people see this. More people are going to grab onto it.
Yeah.
People with huge accounts are going to. Hassan Navi jumped on it. He's like, he made fun of him immediately. Everyone made fun. Everyone posted that photo, and he started crying, and he said he was leaving Twitter.
Yeah.
They're all mean to me. It's like, dude, you fucking, you attack this woman trying to say that this woman's not attractive, only your daughter is, and Sports Illustrated like is using authoritarian like,
well, and the thing is,
I can't even authoritarian tolerance or like
yeah, it's just weird that he's considered like an intellectual of any sort, you know.
This guy's brain is pudding. This guy's an intellectual. Like what he does is he says cookie cutter like self-help shit.
Yeah.
But then he starts applying like right-wing politics to it. And that's what makes him truly dangerous. So it's like, if you're like a kid who's like not sure of yourself, you don't really know, and you feel like you don't have a girlfriend, you're not, you're not like doing well in school. And then Jordan Peterson comes along and he says all these things like, stand up straight, clean up your room. Like those are like things that's like, oh yeah, I will do that, you know. And then you start looking up to him, but then he's like, authoritarian tolerance,
right?
The true problem, and you're like, yeah, that's right, Dad.
Yeah,
you know, it's like
it is a weird
a sea of shitty people.
It is a weird mix, and I think you're probably right that there's that progression where like a decent amount of the stuff does make a lot of sense. Like you should do some push-ups every now and then, or like you should watch what you eat, or you should, get disciplined, or, make your bed. Some of that stuff can provide structure to a person's life that's really helpful, but you're right. Then every
in Charlottesville with a tiki
exactly for every 3 or 4 pieces of good advice, he slips in one, we should build the wall, or they're gonna replace you.
He's like incredibly anti-trans. He's incredibly everything's communism. Like,
it's just so weird.
He claims he's this classic liberal, but this is just funny. I mean, I think his time has come. He was around 2017. It was when he started getting really big, and he was getting propped up by everything. It was dude,
yeah,
what are you doing? This guy sucks. Come on. He's just another self-help guru, but he was pushing
right.
And another guy who's I'm a classic liberal, but let me spend 99% of everything about attacking Democrats and compliment Donald Trump all the time. The fuck out of here. So and then attack this woman. But one of the funniest things is that when people were tweeting, my girlfriend looks like this, and they people who follow him, who respect him, they were they felt like he was attacking them and their choice what they think is attractive.
Well, I think that's why he got off Twitter, because look, I saw that photograph of the woman on Sports Illustrated. A lot of people look like that. Probably more people look like that than look like Peterson's daughter.
Pretty.
Yeah, she's and honestly, like I said,
her body's more normal looking than.
Yeah, there are more people that look like that than there are people that look like Peterson's daughter.
I think he was probably just pissed, Jordan Peterson, because he was looking at his Sports Illustrated football phone.
Yeah.
That he got,
right?
Subscription that you get, and he just felt betrayed, I guess. I use this for all my conversations, and then they try pushing this authoritarian tolerance.
Well,
I'm so sick of that. That is my favorite. Is that the right pushes this meme where the left are the fascists. See, no, they're not the fascists. The left is with their pushing of pronouns.
God, you see that all the time.
People
the left are the true racists. The left are the true fascists. The left is the one who is intolerant. I mean, it's real projection, but it's
but it's also done in a way to get people who aren't aware and trick them.
Yeah, that's true.
Take their grievances and trick them and twist them and have them take them down a dark path instead of the fact of just maybe you shouldn't be an asshole to people, and there's nothing wrong with accepting people. And listen, you know what? I don't know, if that's what Sports Illustrated wants if they want to put her on the cover, and that's great. I don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think his response is funny.
It's hilarious.
And it's just, you always got to consider source. It'd be funny if Donald Trump was on Twitter. He'd be like, she's a 3.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
I would just be posting the photo of wet Trump. I'd be like,
yeah.
But he was always a disgusting pig, even back when he was.
Trump would be talking about Sports Illustrated subscription numbers, and he'd talk about how it's a failing.
Go woke, go broke. They say that shit all the time. Yeah.
So I don't know. Well, the last piece of Twitter news was Joe Rogan had a little thing on Twitter today. It wasn't on Twitter, but people were talking. I saw it.
A video that got out of him where he was trying to go on this bizarre rant, and he sounds more and more like Alex Jones now. He's even doing Alex Jones voice. Alex Jones does that weird voice of we're gonna take over the he's doing, and dude, you just sound like you. He literally is Alex Jones now. But he was going on about this story from Australia where they're making growing vegetables illegal or something. You're not allowed to have a garden. And his guest is some guy named Hotep or whatever. This guy's a total nut job, supposedly. And he's like, Jamie, look it up or something. And they couldn't find anything on it. None of it was true. Nothing. And he was just he went on about it for 2. I mean,
a little. It was a 2-minute clip. This one I saw.
I don't even want to hear it. I don't even want to listen to it. I can't stand him anymore. He's like I said. He just sounds like the best example is he sounds like Alex Jones now. They're indecipherable to me.
Yeah.
And then what did the guy say though?
Well, the guy
funniest thing.
The funny thing is, at the end, Joe Rogan basically comes to the conclusion that it was not true, that it was fake news. And the guest is like, well, all fake news is eventually true, so we should, it's like, it was just such a weird,
it'll happen at some point.
yeah. And Joe Rogan was like, at least Joe Rogan's like, look, I know I've kind of like devoted the first 90% of my thought here to this false news, but at the very end, I'll admit that it may not be true. But the other guy's like, no, fucking put the pedal to the metal. Let's keep, this is going to be true.
We're on this train and it ain't stopping, dude. Australia's trying to take away.
Australia just outlawed zucchini, right? And we got to take.
It's going to be true at some point, and we're going to make it happen.
Yeah, right. I mean, we've talked about this.
Trump drawing on the marker, the hurricane.
Yeah, the Alabama. Like it's
go to Alabama. It's clear.
It's just weird. Like a lot of the stuff, and I think that what that guy said, like the Joe Rogan's guest or whatever, is that's kind of their mentality. It's like doesn't matter. It just feels true. I'm making a. Remember when Stephen Colbert used to talk about truthiness or like something as being, and it was basically like if something feels true and you're trying to make a point about something, then it's perfectly okay to just make shit up.
It's like his gut. He's like, I think from my gut, not my brain or whatever.
Right. And so that would be like me saying, like, I saw a study where people who voted for Trump have an average IQ of 65. And then like, of course that's not true, but it feels true to me.
Oh, it definitely feels true.
and then I just be like leaning into it.
That has more validity than whatever bullshit Rogan was pushing.
Yeah.
Now listen, there is like hysterians of like where, and like if it was up to like corporations, they would love to make sure we have no access to be able to grow. That's
for sure. Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
But then
Monsanto like copyrights their seeds. Like farmers can't replant their seeds.
They end up like in spores in the air and they infect.
Yeah, it's crazy
of other farmers, and therefore now they don't own those seeds.
Yeah, it's a really dystopian shit.
Like,
but
that's true. That's not
that actually is true.
That's true. That is actual truth.
Yeah. The funny part is, I'll bet you. Oh, go ahead.
What they're trying to push, though, is some liberal, anti-liberal hysteria.
Yeah.
Because Australia might be viewed from right-wingers as a country that will exist as more progressive than the United States.
Right.
And they want to push like this hysteria of like, look what they're doing. See, the liberals are the authoritative ones. They're the ones, they don't want you to grow vegetables.
Yeah. It's funny. It's weird though, but like with the Monsanto stuff, there probably is, you wonder, because like, I'll bet you the average Republican and the average Democrat and the average Hillary voter or Biden voter or Trump voter all would probably look at
Oz voter.
Well, they all would look at Monsanto and say like, that's bullshit. We should do something about it. But like, no, we're all just at each other's throats. And it probably is like the corporations pulling the strings and the Monsanto, when Biden people are arguing with Trump people about anything other than Monsanto's probably pretty happy.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you focus on this dumb shit.
Right. Yeah. You guys argue about.
We're going to go patent the human genome.
Right. Yeah.
We're going to start cloning you. You're not going to realize. And we're going to own your clone.
Yeah.
Copyright of it.
Yeah. That's probably why.
Thanks for throwing that skin flake out of your car. Thanks for chewing your nail and throwing it into the street. We just made 12 of you.
Exactly.
You work in a factory on the moon.
Oh.
Now, I have no truth to that. But doesn't it feel?
It feels true.
It feels true.
Let's roll with it.
I think Joe Rogan and the Hotep man are right. The difference between them and us, though, is I don't know how many people are listening to this.
Sure.
Joe Rogan has millions of followers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, again, talking about, this is the same guy who pushed sheep paste, a medicine that is made for pack animals. and it has been proven time and time again to not be effective on COVID in any way at all. And did you see the story about people saying like they're having horrible incontinence?
Bowel incontinence.
Yeah.
Bowel incontinence.
We also saw, and I don't know how much truth there are, we saw them, and the
Feels
people
true.
were supposedly shitting out worms, and it was their intestinal lining.
Oh fuck.
Did you see that one tweet that's, and I think it was proven not true, but it felt true.
Felt true, yeah.
Candace Owens one tweeting it and saying that she doesn't feel good.
I haven't seen that. No.
That one's really funny.
Oh.
And I said, I don't know if this is true, but I want it to be.
I can't.
And people were like, unfortunately, it's probably not. And I said,
yeah.
It feels true.
You'll crush my
That's
dreams.
the problem, though, in this world now. We live in a
Post-truth world
society.
Yeah. Well,
but you know what is true?
SCOTUS, Supreme Court of the United States.
Oh man, I wish this didn't feel true.
Yeah. I don't. This is a weird one. You were going to say something about Clarence Thomas is hitting the.
There's not really any updates. We know they're going to fuck with Roe v. Wade. We know they're going to fuck with whatever other. Whatever they want to go after next. But like one of the big things was people protesting outside the houses.
And
free speech warrior Ron DeSantis put in a thing basically saying that you can't protest out someone's house.
Yeah.
Especially like his donors.
Yeah. Well, you know what's funny is I used to live in Florida, and the area I lived in, we didn't live in a super nice neighborhood, but we didn't live in a very nice little enclave, but we lived in a very nice neighborhood. Like we were the cheapest house in a nice neighborhood. And anyway, often there's this little area right on the Gulf of Mexico with kind of we'd walk by it all the time. And abortion protesters had found like the local director of Planned Parenthood where the woman lived. And they would protest in front of her house constantly. And it was just a residential neighborhood, and all these abortion protesters swarmed this woman's house routinely, stopped traffic, signs with disgusting pictures on it and stuff. And anyway, and I was thinking, like, I don't know how I feel about this, but I remember when the abortion protesters were protesting in front of this woman's house, I wanted them gone, so I don't know. I can see this.
But the Supreme Court thing, I think, is totally different. I'm sorry. 9 judges who are going to change the will of how we live in this country. I think I'd feel change everything on a social way.
Yeah, I feel differently about the Supreme Court for a couple reasons. First, this Supreme Court has said that there doesn't need to be any buffer zones in protests.
Right. They said there don't need to be buffer zones at Planned Parenthood.
Right.
Like that. So if that's the case, we should be allowed to just protest when like Clarence Thomas.
I don't understand why. Like, I don't understand that. Like, if you're telling me that you can.
Well, the understand is that they have the power.
Yeah.
And they're going to have the power work for them.
And the second thing is, there's a power differential. Like these 9 people, like 4 of them, we know for a fact, lied through their teeth during confirmation hearings and just immediately set forth to overturn the expressly stated will of a lot of people. And I don't know, I feel they're.
And then you have one of them going around bitching, saying that people have no right getting involved with the court's decision, and this guy's wife sponsored and paid for to have people come and try to destroy and burn down the U.S. Capitol and kill people in the name of Donald
Gets
Trump.
Up there without
this weird.
Clarence Thomas, without the slightest hint of irony, goes up there and says people shouldn't protest when they don't like a government decision. Like what? Because his wife organized and planned and paid
again,
for.
Though, it's like,
wow,
this is a world that favors him, not you.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's really crazy. The Supreme Court used to be pretty well respected.
I would say board. After 2000, though.
It was the Bush first Gore.
Once the Bush versus Gore thing was just.
That was it.
That was the beginning of the end. I mean, the court was always supposed to reflect the will of the people.
Yeah.
And if the will of the people are voting for more progressives and stuff like that, then the court would also evolve. You saw that with like Thurgood Marshall and all that. And Thurgood Marshall leaving and having Clarence Thomas come in was a slap in the face of society.
Yeah.
And that was just like, look, I put a black guy in. And it's like, yeah, but this guy's like a really horrible person.
A lot of this goes back to the way this country was built is that it was a federal system, meaning that it all had to kind of work in lockstep, and that you couldn't, some things you don't vote on. You don't vote on civil rights, like some things states can vote on, like, hey, should we have an income tax or not? Hey, should this be our flag? Should we offer subsidies to different businesses to bring them here? There's some things are within the realm of a state, but like states can't decide like civil rights. They can't. They never could. And so for most of our history, that's been the case, and that's why like you could have the Supreme Court and the federal government get involved when a state didn't want to educate Black children. This is just another argument like that. This is
like the reverse now.
Well, it's like you can't, like, if a woman has a right to privacy and healthcare, and to go to a doctor and receive guidance on how to address a health problem and how to remedy it, then that right is absolute. It's absolute wherever you go in the United States. And
Marjorie Taylor Greene said it's her HIPAA right.
Yeah. Well, it can't be that you restrict that right. It's either a right or it's not. And states don't get to vote on rights. You don't get to, it's like if you have like two wolves and a sheep, and you can't vote on what's for dinner, because that's
yeah.
that doesn't work.
I don't think the sheep's on a level playing field.
Yeah. It just doesn't work. Like you can't vote. And it's just like if you had a real liberal state and maybe in a progressive state or whatever, and they were like, we're outlawing certain churches. You can't do that. I mean, that may be unfortunate, but like, that's just you have a right to pick which church you go to.
Well, so I think the other thing that's interesting about the whole thing and these idiots that like support the shit is that like, okay, so when Supreme Court works on cases that end up leading to more civil rights for people like gay marriage, abortion, whatever, those should not have any effect on you.
Yeah, right.
I mean, if you hate gay people so much, you're probably not going to any gay weddings.
Right. So
it doesn't affect you, asshole.
Yeah.
But like when the Supreme Court comes in and starts taking away rights, I think that's when there's going to be hell in this country, because you can't go, it's like, I don't know, like if we lost electricity.
Yeah.
After a month, and let's say we just literally lost it for a month, guess what? Society would fucking break down, because
you can't take away rights.
That's how we live. That's what we know. And when you can't go in and take us back to the 1950s, because we don't live in the 1950s, not just because like we literally don't, but we don't. We're culturally everything, humanity, how we think, physicality is totally different. You ever go into a house that was made in like the 40s, 30s? People were like 4 feet tall back then and weighed 80 pounds. I know I'm being like, I may sound like a little ridiculous, but like you can't go back on rights. You could play this game and do a dance and try to play to racist and say, but it's going to be hell.
Well, it's just, it doesn't make any sense. And
it may not be something that will be an immediate effect, but man, shit's going to get bad. You're going to see back out abortions. You're going to see what?
Plus, if you establish the notion that you can do that, then that means you can do that. That means that could happen anywhere with anything. You could have a state say, well, you know what, we're going to revise this rule, and now we're outlawing certain types of churches, or now we're outlawing, now we're going to tax churches or whatever.
Texas is only Christian.
Yeah.
No more mosques, no more temples.
And you could have stuff like that. And then if it gets to the Supreme Court, they're going to have to rule against, they're going to paint themselves in a position where it becomes really clear very quickly that they just vote the way they feel they vote. I mean, that's what that's what it will be like. That's how the bakery thing worked. Like if the Supreme Court says, a baker can not bake cakes for gay weddings if it violates his
Well, what
deeply
did
held
they claim
beliefs.
that he was an artist? They used some bullshit like creators' rights. Like
They did use it was a weird complex.
He was an artist. He wasn't like somebody providing like they were able to use some bullshit and say like he's not like saying like, I'm not going to sell you water or I'm denying you a basic human right. Or
but like
he's like it's almost like, well, I'm an artist and I make art that doesn't reflect on, it's like some they're able to use some creator like bullshit like because you know what I mean, like to say like he's not denying you a service that goes against your human rights is like,
well, I get what you're saying. I think
but it's not good. I'm not defending it. I'm saying that's how they were able to worm it and use it.
But once the Supreme Court says, "Oh yeah, we can revisit laws and change them and take rights away," then all bets are off for all different courts and all.
Yeah, no, I mean that's definitely where it was going. That's what I mean. It wasn't good, but that's what they were able to use as a bullshit excuse. But that, like you said, it opens the doors to all kinds of shenanigans.
Well,
and now with the court being 6'3", with some real reprehensible people in the court, everything. I mean, again, to quote that genius that was on Rogan,
yeah,
we may not be right on all the things they're going to do.
We'll eventually be right.
It feels right. And in this case, it probably will be.
Yeah.
Especially if if the Congress goes to the Republicans.
Yeah.
And the Senate and the Democrat and the Senate, and then they get a Republican president, and now they have a 6'3" court. Pretty fucked. Well, that's not good.
Well, an odd transition, but the Supreme Court has set up a lot of things gun rights wise that led probably indirectly along with some things to that big shooting we saw in Buffalo.
Well, George W. Bush did during his administration let the the Brady bill sunset. So
yeah, well, and we've seen a lot. The Supreme Court's really struck down the right of some localities to restrict guns and stuff. It's really kind of pushed guns along.
This is just they must have like lots of lobbyists and stuff to that work in their interest.
The Buffalo shooting though was a little something else. It was, it was about access to firearms.
There was last Saturday.
Sounds right.
Last Saturday there was a shooting in Buffalo where 10 people are now dead.
Yep.
13 injured or.
I don't remember, but yeah, it was 10 or it was more than 10 dead, and it was a lot injured.
It was an 18-year-old white supremacist.
Yep.
Who, of course, has a crazy manifesto.
Yeah.
Watches Tucker Carlson. They said that, right? Didn't they list
I don't remember them
Fox
saying
News, he likes. He went specifically to a black town, like a more he went to a supermarket, Tops or whatever.
Yeah.
And he killed black people. I don't know if all he did was kill black people. I look at detail, but he targeted and killed.
I think he killed a couple white people too that were just kind of in the crossfire, but he specifically went there to kill black people.
The security guard shot him. He was a black veteran or
he was a former cop.
Yeah, retired, and he basically did this because he didn't want to be home all the time.
Yeah.
And I figured it's gonna be an easy job. Everyone in the neighborhood, we all know each other.
Yeah.
It was one of the only supermarkets in this neighborhood. They had to lobby this company to open up a supermarket in their town.
It was like a food desert. There was no.
Yeah. So then here comes this piece of shit and shoots up people. The security guard shot the kid, but because the kid was in full tactical gear, he was fine.
Yeah.
And then he killed the guard. It's disgusting. The right-wing media personalities, of course, immediately claim that he is a leftist and that the real Nazis are leftists because the word socialist is they do this game all the time. But it's weird because he said he talked about the great replacement theory, which is pushed by the right. Tucker Carlson talks about it all the time.
All the time, yeah.
Other right-wing personalities talk about it. Jordan Peterson's whole authoritative, what do you call authoritative? What wokeness or
something like that? Yeah,
tolerance. That plays into this kid. He's still alive.
Oh yeah, looks fine.
And I mean, fuck. I mean, look at him. He's 18 years old. He does this. I'm sure past couple months or past year, we saw Kyle Rittenhouse, kid.
Yeah.
You're too older than it, right? A year older than him. Get off of murdering two people and seriously injuring another, and not facing any criminal and becoming a big celebrity among the right wing, getting invited to Mar-a-Lago, hanging out with middle-aged woman with fake boobs or whatever. That photo. This kid, I'm sure, come on, you know that kid's probably looking at that like, fuck, that guy. He's a hero. I mean, fuck, he did what they all wanted to do and he got away with it. I don't think this kid's gonna get away with it. This is a different situation. I mean, if he got away, I'd be like, wow, this country's doomed.
Yeah, I think he's gonna go
Buffalo. So it's Buffalo, New York.
He's going to prison for a long time.
I would hope for like forever, because
he'll get life in prison.
This kid's evil, and I mean, like, everything about it just sucks. I mean, it's awful. And again, there was some other gun incidents recently around that time. It's like, dude, I don't even debate these clowns anymore. Just put in an assault rifle as ban and get it over with. I don't even put in a fucking executive order. Start or open the doors so that people could start suing gun manufacturers. Put them in their wallet.
I'm definitely all for that. I don't think this was necessarily an assault rifle issue as much as it was I
do, because he used an assault rifle.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily disagree with that point. I'm saying that this kid, even if he had just gone in there with a knife and stabbed one person, the problem is the murder and the number of people he murdered. But the real problem is that this kid did it because he was radicalized by right-wing media and right-wing internet culture.
Like, it's not like, he found some Nazi comic from 1990s that I saw when I was a kid and got radicalized in that. It's just on Fox News.
Yeah,
that's mainstream right-wing talking points.
That's my point. And I'm not saying guns aren't a problem, but this particular incident in my head isn't a gun problem, although the gun made it much worse, because the real problem is this kid got radicalized, and it would have been that's still a problem even if he had just killed one person with a pocket knife. That's the problem, is that he was radicalized. Oh yeah, no, and again, I don't disagree with that, but like, the better option would be like, if he hadn't been radicalized, then maybe he wouldn't have killed anyone. Like maybe he would have gone.
Probably not, but I also think it would be good that he did it. It wasn't so easy for him to get guns.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that.
I think that plays into it. I mean, I would love for him to have to go into a store with pocket knife and try. I mean, unfortunately, he probably would. Who knows? He probably would have killed like two elderly people.
But in my head, that's still a problem. It's like, the guns made it worse. We should still get rid of assault guns. Well, I'm not disagreeing with any of that.
He could go in and just spray a bunch of bullets easily and do it in seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, that kid, Sandy Hook.
Yeah.
He went in and just sprayed a whole room full of children with bullets. That guy supposedly in Vegas just sprayed a whole crowd with bullets. These guns, can't do that with a pocket knife.
Yeah.
I think these days, I think it's time for people to fucking grow up. They don't need these weapons.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
You can take a handgun and do this. Okay. You're going to have to work a little harder.
Yeah. Well, that one guy, and the guy who kind of inspired this killing, the one that, what was it, like Norway or something, or Sweden? I think he killed like 50 people with like basically a crossbow or something. It was like a fucking bizarre case. Do you remember that?
Guy in what?
In Christchurch. Was it Christchurch or something? Or
I don't know.
Anyway, long story.
Well, that's an unusual case, but guess what? How many? I don't know. I think the fact is there's more of these that happen in this country because people have access to weapons.
Yeah.
Than they do. The Christchurch, that's an isolated incident. I mean,
yeah, you look, you don't hear about this often elsewhere. You hear about it all the time here in the US.
It's like that Onion article that they just post all the time. It just says only country in the world where this happens, and like we do everything to just ignore it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a basic human right. Pat Oswalt had a great tweet, basically said like, we don't have the right to go into a movie theater, go to a restaurant, go into a supermarket. Yeah, we have the Second Amendment, and everyone could go out and buy whatever fucking horrible weapon they want to get. But we don't have basic human rights now because some dumbass who watched Tucker Carlson got his brain warped, poisoned. It was probably already shitty to begin with. Decided to go in and just relentlessly murder people, like elderly Black people, like doing just getting food, going to the store and living their life. You read stories about them. These people it's just disgusting. And then, like I said, on top of it, the right were already trying, like Laura Loomer and all these fucking chuds, they were already trying to turn this into a Sandy Hook thing and say that, like, this is fake. These people weren't killed. This kid didn't and it's just like, here we go again. Here's this fucking dance these fucking clowns do. And it's like, Sandy Hook's a great example. Okay, well, here's like possibly one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I've seen all kinds of
That's a bad one, yeah.
But Sandy Hook to me still goes down as possibly the worst.
Yeah.
And all these so-called anti-choice, pro-life assholes that I knew were spreading bullshit lies about Sandy Hook.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, these were literal children sprayed out. So, and you think that this was fake? Well, guess what? If it was fake, you wouldn't have any guns right now. If this was truly a false flag, you would have, this was 10 years ago, Sandy Hook, over 10 years ago. There would be no guns on the street right now if that was true. If it was a true false flag operation and they used this to push an agenda, well, then that kid who went and shot up Tops the other day, killed a bunch of elderly Black people, wouldn't have a gun right now. He'd probably, like you said, if he or the conversation would just be very different. But guess what? It wasn't a fucking what do you call it, false flag. It was a real fucking thing. People's lives were just, well, besides having their kids killed, they had to deal with all the psychos that like harassed them for years. So, and they're trying to do the same shit now with this. Gross. I don't even know what to say. So no, I'd say to people, you know what? I respectfully say, go fuck your gun. I'm so tired of these people.
Yeah.
This country is so poisoned when it comes. You do not need these things. If you live on the land and you have to hunt your deer to survive,
sure, yeah,
that's fine. Stick to your own fucking self and do your own weird snipe hunting. People that live in society, you don't need these fucking weapons. And when the government it's kind of funny though, isn't it? I always thought it was weird too, where like when the closest example of a government upsiege to me was during the George Floyd riots, where they were the cop riots, I call it, which is what it was, not the people, but the cops, and they were like pounding the shit out of people and reporters. Where were all those so-called gun nuts? They were on the side of the cops.
Yeah, that is real true.
They were on the side of the actual authority.
Oppressors, yeah.
And you were just like, what the fuck? Like, I'm not shocked by that. These people are fascists.
Wow.
It doesn't make me feel safe.
No.
And it's kind of scary. Like, I could just go into a supermarket one day, get killed. Because some dipshit.
Yeah.
Had easy access to weapons because he watches Matt Walsh on the Daily Wire go on about trans people, or Ben Shapiro, or Tucker Carlson, Steven Crowder. Fuck those people.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
I don't know what else to say about it. It'll keep happening. I mean, you know what? The only good thing of COVID, you want to know what the best thing of COVID was?
Oh, yeah, remarkably.
There was no school shootings for like a year. There was really no there was no shootings anywhere because things were shut down.
Trump supporters always talk about how like there were so few school shootings the last 2 years of his presidency. They do. And like this, there's a one TikTok, it's a pretty famous TikTok where a kid basically they do a clip of a Trump supporter saying that, and then you see the kid and he's sitting kind of at his desk and he's looking at his laptop, and you hear like, oh my God, he's got a gun, and the kid just like shuts his laptop. Like, there, I'm done. I'm safe.
I know these
like,
people are dumb as fuck. These are the same assholes, and a lot of them are right wing media, so they're lying. Who said like, oh, look at gas prices. Gas prices 2 years ago were great. You mean when in 2020 when no one was driving to work?
Yeah.
And they were like, Trump was like begging people to go out and just buy gas.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it didn't go down because he was so great. It went down because he sucked and let a virus fester the country, and everything got shut down because of it.
Well, this is actually a good transition to our last topic, which is the baby formula shortage.
I do have one other one.
Yeah.
We can talk about the baby formula first, and then I want to end on one more. And then the George W. Bush thing with Iraq.
Oh, yeah. Well, Ukraine. The baby formula shortage is kind of a weird one. I mean, there have been a lot of shortages, and there's a bunch of reasons for it. But we keep hearing these things about how like a lot of the Trump policies, which we just sort of overlooked to begin with, are coming back to haunt us now. And I guess one random thing Trump did is he made it really difficult to import baby formula. I guess Canada has all
Canada, right?
Yeah. And it was part of his trade war.
Like horrible decisions that were like mostly done out of spite.
Yeah.
Happened under Trump, and we're paying for it now.
Well, it's just so crazy. And yeah, I sympathize with the formula shortages.
Oh God. I mean, that's how Roger was fed.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I'd be freaking out right now.
Yeah.
I can't even
it's terrible.
like. But the right, of course, is trying to blame Biden. There's 3 manufacturers that make it in this country. Again, limitations pushed in by Trump. So, we couldn't get formula, I guess, from Canada or whatever. But there were these 3 companies that make other items. They don't just make baby formula. It's like all these corporations just gobble each other up. And I guess they even said like, well, one of them was like in a plant or whatever. There was a contamination. So like you can't release this because it'll kill kids.
It could kill kids, yeah.
They're killed too. And now if those were guns, if the baby formula was guns, it would be fine. Sure. We sent some thoughts and prayers out.
Right.
But but then like Marjorie Taylor Greene went on this thing. So there was a vote today, though.
Yeah, this is kind of funny.
Yeah, it's deranged. I don't know.
It was a vote on, I think Biden wanted to startups, like basically he wanted to federalize production of baby food briefly.
Promise too is this stuff. I mean, people need it now. This is going to help for weeks, you know? But I mean, it's something.
Right.
Breaking, the House votes 414-9 in favor of a bill ensuring access to baby formula with low-income women, infants, and children. Benefits during the shortage. All 9 no votes were Republicans, including Boebert, Yates, Gomer, Gosar, Massey, and Marjorie Taylor Greene. And I tweeted and I said, how can you vote against baby formula?
Yeah.
Yeah, they said very pro-life, and then maybe if the bill included an AR-15 with the milk.
Right.
Or if the baby bottle was shaped like a gun. I mean, the thing was too, the other thing the right were saying, and I saw this everywhere, they were like, which is hysterical because they're trying to outlaw abortion and say how they're so pro-life. They were basically saying, we want to make sure that none of the formula is going to those dirty immigrants.
Right, right.
It's like, wow, that doesn't seem very pro-life of you.
Yeah. Abbott wanted assurances that none of the formula would go to immigrant children.
Yeah, so like, we believe that life is, all sanctity of life is important, and the minute there's a heartbeat or the minute of conception, whatever, that's when life starts and begins. We also believe that some children shouldn't be allowed to eat.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, this is fucking gross. I hope this is resolved. I think it's really fucked up, but a huge tell I mean, any of these motherfuckers that try to run a pro-life, they should just be bombed with, you literally voted against baby formula. Like, they'll say some bullshit and say that it.
Well, it was only 9 of
say,
them.
This is what?
It was only 9 of them.
No, I know, but these are
and
clowns that are running. This needs to be used against them when they run, and people need to be made aware that they've literally voted against nourishing babies. Like, like there's really no other. What are they going to say? We didn't like the bill because it ensured that illegals would get it or something. I mean, and then I'd be like,
right, they're still babies.
Yeah, like
they didn't, call an Uber to come here.
You're a horrible ghoul. You're a monster and a ghoul. And anytime they try to claim they're pro-life, it needs to be shouted out. You literally voted against baby formula. Yes, it was only 9, but I would love to see all 9 of them go away. I think the country would be a better place with.
100%.
There probably also would be less shootings if those people didn't exist.
Yeah, for sure.
They're all stochastic terrorists and spread.
Yeah,
that bullshit. So speaking of
we're gonna
round this out. Last one. I gotta play it because
it was a weird clip. Yeah.
First of all, George W. Bush,
former President George W. Bush.
He sounds and looks like a very old man. Of course, he's only known as the painter George W. Bush.
Right.
What else was he famous for?
He cleared brush.
Oh, he did. He cleared brush, and he threw a baseball.
True. Yes.
He also started the endless war in Iraq.
Yes, there was that. That was one of his greatest hits.
Yeah, literally one of his. One of his accomplishments. A mission accomplished. Okay, here we go.
In contrast, Russian elections are rigged. Political opponents are imprisoned or otherwise eliminated from participating in the electoral process. The result is an absence of checks and balances in Russia and the decision of one man to launch a wholly unjustified and brutal invasion of Iraq.
God. That must haunt his dream.
People are laughing in the audience like, it's funny we killed babies. I mean, so he's trying to give a good speech about the atrocities going on in the Ukraine.
Yep.
And of course, we would all be like, maybe you should sit this one out. I understand what you're doing, but you might not be the right messenger.
Right. You may good message, wrong messenger.
But I think the little voice that's hidden inside of George W. Bush's head came out and said something instead. And said, instead of invading Ukraine was wrong, invading Iraq.
That was his drop dead friend. That was his drop dead.
Yeah. Somebody, I tweeted, someone said that 2003 Twitter is losing their shit right now.
Yeah, right, for sure.
I mean, 2003 Twitter going bananas right now. I mean, I couldn't believe, like, someone, I saw Ken Klippenstein tweeting. At first, I read it, and I thought he was just making like a joke, like being sarcastic. Like, but I'm like, I gotta listen to it. And I was like, holy shit, he literally said Iraq.
It was crazy. I heard about it before I saw the clip, and I was like, there's got to be more. No, there was not more to it. That was like,
my favorite was, when people, what's that famous clip of him where he says, it's an old story we say down in like Tennessee or whatever, fool me once, shame on me, fool on you. You can't fool me.
We'll get fooled again.
But he screwed it up because it was like, if he said it correctly, it would be revealing that he's a liar.
Yeah.
So he was reading, he's saying it, and he was like, oh shit. Like, people are like, oh, he's an idiot. I'm like, I don't know if he's an idiot. I think maybe the person who wrote his speech is an idiot. And he was like,
I don't think Bush was an idiot, but I don't think he wasn't incredibly bright, but he wasn't an idiot. Him switching around that speech is actually signs that he probably is a little more on top of things than maybe people suspected.
People were like, I'm like, no, the line is basically saying, like, if you trust a liar,
right,
shame on you and he lied about Iraq, and if he actually said it correctly, people are going to be like, oh, you're You're the liar. Yeah, I mean, whatever. This guy he didn't pay for any crimes.
Nope.
No president is going to do that. I always wondered, Donald Trump said he was going to arrest Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
I'm curious though if he did get reelected in any way and claimed the election was stolen, he got in. Do you think he would have tried to arrest people, or do you think that
I'll bet you he would? Yeah, I'll bet you he would. Honestly,
he would feel so
emboldened.
That fourth term, he would feel so emboldened.
Yeah, I think so. And I think he would bring with him, I think the last time he went to Washington, he relied on a lot of Washington people, and I think this time it would be all sycophants and shitheads. It would be like, it wouldn't even be like Ben Carson or Rex Tillerson. It wouldn't even be like legitimate, quasi-legitimate figures. He would bring in that, Sheriff Joe, as the Secretary of Defense, and
Dinesh D'Souza,
as Secretary of the Interior, and it would be like that, and you would have terrible shitheads running the country. So I think so.
Yeah, it would be chaos. I anybody that says, unless you're a Trump supporter, it's whatever. I mean, I don't expect anything less from you if you hate Biden. But anyone that claims that that is and supposedly a Republican, and they claim that the country is better off, it would have been better off if Trump stayed in office. Yeah, okay. And I always love that, well, when Trump was president, we got more COVID stuff. And it was if you paid attention, they didn't want to give you any of that.
Yeah.
And it was because you had a Democratic Congress.
Yep.
And no one like Trump wanted to even consider giving it to, was because he was trying to bribe us.
Yeah.
So he literally said, I'm only going to give this to you if I'm allowed to sign the check.
Yeah.
And I remember getting the check in the mail and it had his dumb signature. And I was like,
there was a delay. People's aid got delayed by a couple of weeks because he wanted to physically, not physically sign each one, but he
make
wanted
sure that it was printed on there.
Yep. So fuck that guy.
Yeah, he can get fucked. And who else get fucked? George W. Bush.
Yeah.
No matter what a sweet elderly man that he may appear to be these days.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just want to have a beer with him. Remember that?
Sure.
Said,
that
was the big sales pitch. I can't have a beer without Al Gore.
Right.
But I could have a beer with George W. Bush.
Yeah. I like that, how you see that kind of joke floating around on Twitter where people will still joke about Al Gore having said he invented the internet, which he never said, but the joke is young people now say is that why it's called an algorithm? Which is
actually kind of funny.
Which is kind of funny. I was
I told you.
Feels true.
Just, you know what? We're going to leave it on the note. It feels true.
Yeah. So hopefully Twitter's algorithm will
work it out. Yeah, dude, let's see. Hold on before we end it. Where is your let's see what your number is.
Oh, let's see. That's a good question.
It's at 23,300. 220 quotes, 3,805 retweets. This guy says you're a soy boy, woman, flaccid.
Oh, hold on. I got another direct message.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you get more of them? I mean,
I've gotten a bunch. This one is just says.
You didn't respond to any, right?
No, I just block them. This one says.
My favorite, and I'll let you go.
Yeah.
My favorite are the ones that try to act like they want to act like they're reasonable.
Right. I didn't get any of those.
Those are the worst. Don't even engage those people.
I didn't get any of those. The last few I got. This one says, "You're a dumbass." YOUR. Yep, it's spelled wrong.
That's my favorite. That's just funny. That's comedy right there. I mean, when they're calling you a dumbass and they spell everything wrong.
This one says keep crying. Everything spelled correctly. And this other one, this one's actually kind of nice. This says your tweet makes you look like an insensitive, complacent asshole. I don't know what about that.
I don't even that's the funny thing too. They try to make it like you're the bad guy.
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
Well, I mean, Trump. I mean, Elon Musk even said that like all the unkind stuff is coming out of the Democrats, not the Republicans. Republicans are not being, when they take away, strip rights away and go after trans kids, that's not being mean.
Well, I will say, yeah. So I guess this is a big tweet for me. I'll have to reflect on my Twitter success.
Earned yourself some Twitter gold.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, now that you have this, you brought you helped shed some fame onto YSGOAT. Let's see where we're at now, follower wise. Before this tweet, we were at like barely, I think like 78 or something.
103.
Wow. See?
Yeah.
I bet you, this is my thing.
Yeah.
We're gonna get to 105.
Well, it's I Twitter. I rarely tweet like stuff from YSGO because it's weird to like maintain kind of not a neutral voice, but like it's a tough thing. Most of the time when I want to say shit on Twitter, I just say it in my own head and it winds up. But yeah, this should be good.
Yeah, man.
All right.
We're taking over, dude. We're really gonna get some free Baja Blast. All right. Well, on that note, I'm Rob Israel.
I'm Joseph K.
And you still going on about
that.
Thank you for listening to You Still Going On About That. Please like, comment, share, and if you haven't done already, please follow us on Instagram, YSGOAT, Facebook, YSGOAT, and Twitter, YSGOAT. Thank you, and have a great day.